Now it's time for Owatonna High School hockey as the Owatonna Indians hockey team will meet Albert Lea tonight at Graham Arena in Rochester in Section 1 hockey play. Now let's go to the arena. Todd Hale and Ken Wilcox.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you. Todd Hale along with Ken Wilcox here tonight at the Graham Arena in Rochester, where the Owatonna Indians are in the game of the season, you might say, as they meet Albert Lea Tigers here tonight. We have just arrived at the arena about 25 minutes ago, and our pregame show here is brought to you tonight by courtesy AMC Jeep, also by Northwestern Bank, and also by McDonald's of Owatonna. Neither team has taken the ice yet. However, they are scheduled to get on the ice here at around 6 o'clock tonight in this region hockey game. The loser, he's done for the season. The winner goes on to play Bloomington Kennedy on Saturday night at the Bloomington Ice Garden. And, of course, we hope that we'll be the ones to go up there on Saturday night. This game is, of course, the second one for the Owatonna Indians in the regions, and we'll be running over the regional play here before too awful long for you if we have some extra time here in the pregame show tonight. Graham Arena in Rochester. This is the first of two games being played here tonight. Owatonna meeting Albert Lea in the first game this evening, and Mayo will take on St. Peter in the second game tonight. Actually, the Owatonna-Albert Lea game is probably the closest game of all of them that are being played this evening, and we'll tell you about those here shortly, too. But nevertheless, rather interesting innovation here as we arrived at the arena. The coach told the bus driver, Bill Hinton, to stop at about a block away from the arena. They got the kids out of the bus, and they walked them over here for about a block and a half. That's what they did the other night against Red Wing, and it paid off, I guess, and a little strategy session going on there. So loosen up the legs a little bit. Well, we'll be back to talk with Coach Otto about tonight's game here and give you some other facts and figures about this game this evening in just a minute. Right now, let's do this for Northwestern Bank of Owatonna. Okay, back here at Graham Arena in Rochester, Owatonna going to be taking on Albert Lea Tigers here tonight. And neither team has taken the ice yet for their warm-ups. You can hear the Owatonna High School band, and they did come in full strength over here at the Graham Arena. So we'll have a little music going on here tonight to cheer the Owatonna Indians on. And the game is scheduled to begin tonight here at Graham Arena at 6:15. However, we may end up a little bit later because, as we said, neither team has taken the ice as yet. Let's take a look at what's going on tonight in other parts of the region here. Of course, this game, Owatonna meeting Burnsville. Meeting Albert Lea at Rochester. And also scheduled for this evening in the 8:15 game here is the Mayo-St. Peter game. And that game should not be, I wouldn't think, an extremely close game. Mayo should dominate that one pretty much. Also being played tonight up at the Burnsville Arena are two games. Here come the Owatonna Indians out on the ice now, skated ahead by Joe Buckley, who, of course, will be in the nets tonight. Owatonna will meet Owatonna's meeting Albert Lea here, and at Burnsville Arena tonight, Burnsville meets Rosemont. So that should be a pretty well-dominated game by the Burnsville Braves, I would think. And also, it will be Farmington meeting Lakeville at Burnsville tonight in the second game. That game probably will be fairly dominated by Farmington as well. So as you can well see, the game of the region this evening is definitely the Owatonna-Albert Lea Tiger game. Albert Lea has now taken the ice as well. The Owatonna Indians are really psyched up for this game, and they're thinking nothing but win, and hopefully that's the way it'll come out. Let's talk with Coach Otto now about tonight's game. Well, Coach, I venture to say it would be a silly question if I asked you what's been on your mind all day long.
It's true, Todd. I'll tell you, we've been thinking nothing about except Albert Lea, and it was kind of funny in the classroom today. A couple of my kids, Kurt Matichek and Pete McEnany, both were in my class. A couple times I said, "Hey, Mr. Otto, looks like you're thinking about that game tonight," and we really are. I know the club has been, and Ryden and Brandt, and I'm just positive that everybody's up for the game.
Yeah, I think they are. You know, I was at practice last night, and it seemed to me like I've never seen the kids quite that fired up at practice. Brad DeWord, as captain, was firing out the commands. Wilker was doing the same thing. Really seemed like they know just how much this one means to them.
Right. We felt that in practice last night we had to pick up a little bit of momentum and fire and excitement, and we did have a good practice, and I'm sure that it's going to carry over into the game tonight.
Okay, well, I guess the big question is, what have you heard at this point, anyway, about Kirkley?
Well, I talked to David this morning. He said that he felt that the leg was a little bit better than last night, but I think really the indicator will be tonight when we go for the warm-up skating to see whether he can really go wide open and give his best shot in it. So we're planning on starting Carlson's line, so Todd, you and Kenny can take a look. If you see Kirkfleet out there in the face-off, you'll know that he's ready to go.
Would you, as a coach, rather see a man replace him if he had to work, say, for instance, at half speed, or would you put him out there even if he wasn't at full capacity?
Well, I think really we would boil it down right to let the guy make the own decision. We've talked to the guys during the year. Anytime that they're injured, we want them to be honest with us, and if they feel they can contribute to the club and do a good job, we'll go ahead and respect their decision. And if Dave says he can go, we'll go ahead and use him. But if he doesn't feel that he can do that, I'm sure in turn he'll say that he can't.
Okay, I've noticed that Albert Lea has switched goaltenders on us. Does that concern you at all or not?
No, not really. In fact, of the two games, I thought that Wodesh, the one that played us in the 7-4 loss to them, was a little tougher than Anderson, and I think it's Anderson tonight that we go against. So I guess my own personal feeling, I'm kind of glad to see that we're going with against Anderson. I think we've had a little better luck with him, and but in turn, I think Nystrom would not be going with him unless he felt he was the better of the two goaltenders. So it's really hard to say, but I think I kind of like the fact that Anderson's in there.
Okay, what have you told the kids as far as how they're going to have to skate, Albert Lea? You've met them twice now. We've lost two narrow losses to them. Are you doing anything special out on the ice to contain any one person or two people or so on?
No, we just really stress the fact that we're going to have to discipline ourselves tonight. I think if you look at the overall two teams, we're very close in talent and on all departments, forwards, defense, and goaltenders. I think it's just really two teams match up very closely, and possibly the team that skates the best tonight and gets some breaks will probably come up with the win. But I think we do have an advantage in this way. We've talked. We basically have a three-line team, and our first two lines are not designated as number one or number two, but our first two lines can go against anybody's 1 and 2 lines in the state. I really think that. Our third line, we talked to them about being a checking line, and I think our third line is as good as their third line, and we should be able to go out and play them even on those two areas. We tell our third line, give the other two lines a rest, do the job, don't get scored against, and if you come up with one, that's a bonus for us. Our first line, whether it's Carlson or DeWard skating against their first line, has the responsibility of picking up Dahl and Serrato, who's really been tough on us in the two games. They've scored a lot of goals on us, and we're going to be thinking basically defense against their first line. We're not concerned about scoring goals, but we are concerned about holding them down. And if we can do that, I think then we do have an advantage over their second line, whether it would be Carlson's line against their second line or DeWard's line. That's where we're going to have to make our move. That's the line we're going to have to score against. And so if we can shut down their first and third lines and score on their second, I think really that's, if there's any real strategy, that might be it.
Okay, back with Coach Otto in a minute after this from courtesy AMCG.
There you
Okay, Coach, one other thing I want to ask you, and that is, if you were not able to skate Kirk tonight, who would you skate in his place?
Well, I think then, Todd, we have made some changes. If we can go with Kirkfleet, we'll leave that line intact with Carlson, Webster, and Kirkfleet. We took our line of DeWard and McEnany, and we moved up Brian Orlowski off the third line, replacing Wilker, who went back to defense. And then our third line is made up with Hansen, Block, and Dietrich. Now, if Kirk can't skate, rather than have two lines that are somewhat mixed up for having players not there prior to this game, we would probably then go ahead and move Wilker back up with DeWard and McEnany because they've played the last 3 games together. That line would be intact. and then we would take Orlowski and move him up in place of Kirk Fleet. So that would be the change we'll make. But otherwise, if Kirk's ready to go, we'll basically have two lines intact.
Okay, how much of the game do you think will be told in the nets? And, of course, we have Joe Buckley in there for us tonight.
Well, I think it really gets down to a point. I don't like to put any pressure on goaltenders, but anytime you go into the regions and into the state tournament, the team that really does have the hot goaltender, the good, solid goaltending, is usually the team that's going to come out with the win, especially in a situation like tonight where our teams are so evenly matched. I really think that could be where it's won, and I'm just confident that Joe can do the job for us, and when the game's over, maybe we can look back and say, hey, we did win that one in the nets tonight.
Okay, Coach, good luck in tonight's game.
Thank you.
Coach Dudley Otto, the Owatonna Indians, will be back after this from McDonald's. Well, Ken Wilcox, I'll tell you one thing. It was a mighty quiet bus over here tonight, and I was telling the folks before you got here the strategy that the team got out over by the silo over here in the fairgrounds and walked to the rink to get those legs loosened up a little bit. That's what we did. We stopped the bus and walked over. I shouldn't say we, because I stayed in the bus and rode over, but nevertheless, the strategy was done down in Austin as well. But the kids are really psyched up for it. Joe Buckley's been trying to stay loose, but he said it's been pretty tough all day.
Oh, it has to be a lot of pressure on goaltenders. Always is. They're the last man, the last hope on a lot of those breaks, and they can be such heroes, but also they can feel awfully bad if one gets by them that they feel shouldn't have got by them. It doesn't surprise me. I guess the Indians know how serious this one is, and a lot of times, not making any predictions, of course, on it, but a lot of times it certainly doesn't hurt them that they did lose two during the year, because they know it, and they don't feel they're an underdog class at all. It's just a matter of those two games, especially the one they weren't playing up to par. They probably feel like they should be able to really go to work on this one now and pull it out.
I think they sure will. And the warm-ups are being taken here right now. Albert Lea, as far as we know, talking to the coaches, are healthy all the way. And, of course, we were questioning Kirk Fleet. However, Kirk is out skating there right now. And it's funny what that adrenaline will do in a game situation. When you're hurting all day long, you get out there, and for those 2 hours of hockey, you'll skate, and you won't hardly even feel it. Well, we're going to be back. That's our pregame show, and brought to you by McDonald's, by courtesy AMC Jeep, and by Northwestern Bank. Let's do this for Harlan's Tire Service. Well, back here at Graham Arena in Rochester, they are introducing the squads now, and Kenny will take you through the lineups here of the starters.
Okay. The introductions are going to be made with the Indians first. In the net, number 30, Joe Buckley. And on defense, number 2, Doug DeWord. Teaming with him on defense, number 13, Brett Buckley. Excuse me, number 16, Brett Buckley. And then centering that first line that'll be out there, number 9, Bobby Carlson. Playing the wing, Davey Kirkfleet. I guess that takes the question mark out of it.
He's out there now, anyway.
He's going to be there. And on the other wing, of course, number 17, Mark Webster. The balance to the Owatonna Indians, and, of course, coaches Dudley Otto, Bill Ryden, and Gary Brandt. The Albert Lea Tigers playing the nets tonight, number 1, Tom Anderson. On defense, number 5, Mitch Anderson. And number 2, Steve Anderson. Center, number 10, Ross Dahl, one that you'll hear the name mentioned many times throughout the game. His winger, number 16, Vinny Serrato, also a high scorer. And number 9, Kent Hansen, rounding out that first line and the balance of the Albert Lea Tigers team.
Well, the loser hangs up the skates. The winner goes on to play Saturday night against Bloomington Kennedy. Here's the national anthem.
there directing tonight.
Yeah, it does. Here goes the fight song for the Indians, and incidentally, Coach Otto said that he was kind of happy to see Anderson in there in goal instead of Wadash, and Anderson did play against us once, Wadash once, but he felt that Anderson was probably the weaker of the two goaltenders. The captain's going over to talk to the team, to the referees, and we're ready to go here from Graham Arena in Rochester as the Owatonna Indians meet Albert Lea in what is to be certainly the game of the season. Two very equal teams, and probably looking over the slate of games tonight will be the closest one. Mayo meets St. Peter, Burnsville meets Rosemont, Farmington meets Lakeville. All of those pretty well to be dominated yet by Mayo, Burnsville, and Farmington, I would say.
Yeah, certainly looks like it, Todd, although I was surprised. I watched a little of that Austin-Lakeville game, a very rough period, the first period of hockey. Austin was ahead 2-1 at the time, but there's no question they were out to play a rough brand of hockey, and I was surprised really to see Lakeville pull off with a 5-4 win.
Talking to Bill Carlson before he left here, he said that next year they were going to seriously consider a playoff of possibly the bottom 6 teams or 8 teams where possibly we could eliminate at least some of the one-sided games. Eventually somebody's going to have to meet a super team, but nevertheless it might eliminate some of these 20-0 scores as Farmington was over Faribault. Well, the Indians are still around their net here talking with Joe Buckley, and I want to tell you, this will be Coach Otto's 100th win tonight. If the kids could come along and win this one, other than that, he would have to wait until next year. So here's the Indian drums.
Well, the desire's there. There's no question about that. If they can just get those passes clicking, and we sure hope that they got that adrenaline flowing. I'm sure it is, and we got some exciting hockey on our hands here in front of us tonight.
Those drums got to fire them up, Ken. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that does really help to have that band here.
Okay, ready for the face-off, and Bob Carlson is out there at center for the Owatonna Indians. Number 10, Ross Dahl for Albert Lea. Face-off is picked up by Owatonna. Shot down into the Albert Lea zone. Tigers pick up again at the blue line. Back to Steve Anderson. Anderson shooting it across ice. Going over to Vinny Serrato. Serrato shooting it across ice now. Gets it down into the Owatonna end and takes a shot. Goes wide of the goal. Over to the corner. Skating after it is Ken Hansen. Hansen with it. Shooting it up into the corner. Carlson goes after it, or Kirklead rather, around the back of his net. Getting it off to Webster. Webster shooting it down to center ice now. And Albert Lea skates after it, and icing will be called right away and will face off in the Owatonna end.
Valiant effort by Davey Kirklead to get there before that puck crossed the line right across the crease of the net to save that icing call, but he didn't quite make it. A quick change of lines after only 28 seconds. That line had been out there. I'm sure they're going to, well, let's see. No, Albert Lea did not change lines.
No, they didn't.
So they're not matching lines. They're just making a quick change.
Okay, we do have a change of lines out there, of course, and McEnany's line out there. Drop of the puck again is picked up again by Albert Lea after the face-off shot is taken on Buckley. Makes the stop. Another shot goes around the back of the net. Over to the corner now. Orlowski picks it up, shoots it back around the net again. Going to Ormson. Ormson shooting it to McEnany. Goes around the corner. Bob McEnany across center ice. Losing it there. Goes up to Brad DeWard. He can't get it. Picking it up for Albert Lea. Serrato hard checking there at center ice. And no shot is taken. Goes to the blue line. Back again. Shot is taken. Goes wide by Serrato. Round the back of the net it goes. And it's picked up there by Brad DeWard. DeWard coming down across blue line, across center ice, stops, goes around a man, passing it across ice. McEnany can't get a stick on it. Goes around behind the net. He's checked hard against the boards by number 5, Mitch Anderson. Anderson shooting it up to center ice again. Picking it up is Dahl. Dahl for Albert Lea over the blue line. Back again to Dahl. Dahl at center ice. Skates it over across ice again, shooting it over to Serrato. Serrato going in the corner with it. Ormson fighting for it. Ormson slips and can't get it, and it goes up against the boards, and we have a frozen puck right there. Ormson making a valiant effort to hold her right there.
Coach Otto changing that line again. They did get almost a minute of play, but it looks like he's going to follow a policy of quick changes, at least during this opening minutes in the first period. No score.
Broadcasters Club include Cashman, Flower, and Gift, Fredden Brothers Excavating, National Tree Expert, Steel, Waseca, Co-op Electric. Drop of the puck goes to the left, at the blue line now. Shot up again by Albert Lea. Coming across ice now with it is Webster. Webster back to Carlson. Carlson to center ice, shooting it over to the right. Kirkley trying to get it, and it goes back to Albert Lea. Dan Kolstrup gets it now. Kolstrup just over the blue line. It's shot back down into the Albert Lea end, and picking it up is Clark Johnson. Johnson shoots it down just over the Owatonna blue line. Brett Buckley picks it up. He goes into the corner with it. He's checked against the boards. Comes back to Webster. Webster with it over the blue line again. Across center ice. No score in the game. Down into the Albert Lea zone again, and the puck goes around behind the Tigers net. Dahl gets it. Dahl falls down with it, but picking it up is Johnson again now for Albert Lea. Johnson shooting it up, goes into the skates of Carlson, but he holds on to it, getting it back up to Doug DeWord now. DeWord over the blue line again there, brings it down into the Albert Lea end, coming over to the right side of the net. He's checked against the boards. Puck is still there and finally going to be frozen, and Doug DeWord did the right thing there.
You bet. Excellent work by Doug all along those boards. He was trying to find that man open in front of the net, not seeing him there, and 2 men on him. He decided to freeze that puck, so they'll get the face-off to the right of the Albert Lea Tigers net.
So we'll have another face-off, and it will be McEnany, DeWord, and Orlowski out there. Orlowski doing a fine job the last few games here with the varsity. Down into the corner now, picked up there by Albert Lea. Dahl gets it. Brings it around behind his own net. Comes out to the left of the net. Shoots it up the center ice, right into Wilker's stick. Wilker shooting it over to Orlowski. Orlowski takes a shot, goes down into the corner. Around the back of the net now. Picked up again by the Tigers. Steve Anderson. Anderson with it, shooting it up to Ross Dahl. Dahl at center ice now, shooting it over to his right, getting it off to Hansen. And Orlowski comes back down again, and it comes down into the Albert Lea zone again. Racing after it, and icing is not called as it goes down to Albert Lea again. Picked up by Mitch Anderson. Mitch at the left of the net. Coming out now across center ice again. No score in the game. Down across the blue line. Getting it off to barely getting a shot off to the left. Wilker skates after it. Gets it over in the corner to Orlowski. Orlowski shooting it up at center ice. Brad DeWord can't get a stick on it. And Albert Lea shoots it back up again at center. Back to McEnany now. And McEnany dumps it down into the Tigers' end. Around the back of the net it goes. And Steve Anderson gets it. Shoots it off to his right. Back to Orlowski now. Orlowski shoots. Goes right in front of the net, up in the air and down. I don't think there's been a stop. Buckley's only had to stop one puck so far. And there's a whistle against the boards, and Owatonna has yet to shoot on the net.
Yes, very, very controlled. I'm sure this is what the coaches asked them to do, not take any chances. And as normally we'd see one of our men go behind that Albert Lea net to try and tie a guy up. They're not doing it tonight. They're waiting for him to try and break out.
Okay, drop of the puck again now just to the left of the Albert Lea net. Out there is Bob Carlson. Ernfeld Real Estate, Urban's Heating and Air Conditioning, and Paffras Paint Bar bringing you this game. There's the drop. Goes back over to Webster. Oh, Webster fans it. He can't get the shot off. Picked up by Todd Leach now. Leach for the Tigers. Gets it over to Colstrup. Colstrup across the blue line. Loses it to Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet in back of the net there. He loses it, but picking it up is Brett Buckley now. Buckley shooting it out across center ice. Getting it off to Carlson. Carlson down to Webster. Webster goes down into the Albert Lea zone with it. Skating after it is Todd Dahl. Dahl shooting it back down to Todd Leach now. Leach gets it up to center ice. Buckley gets it there again. It's interfered with by Brandt. Kevin Brandt with it just over the blue line. Picked up again by Owatonna as Webster comes down across the blue line, skating after it along with Clark Johnson for the Tigers. Webster's hung up there, and he falls down, and it goes around behind the Tigers net again. In front of the net it comes out. Picked up there by Doug DeWord. Doug DeWord at center ice now. Taken away by Colstrup. He shoots it just over the blue line of the Indians. Picked up again by Bob Carlson. Here comes Carlson. Takes the hard shot. Nice save there by Anderson, and he got it in the glove.
That was the first one Anderson had to come up with. One stop for each goalie at this point, and we've already used up 4.25 minutes in this period.
This is something else. I've never seen a game with that few shots, but as you say, it's very controlled, and they aren't going to do it unless they see it's right.
No, they're not going to throw that puck away on a shot that just is too easy for the goaltender to handle.
This would indicate possibly a fairly low-scoring game, but we'll see what happens. Brad DeWord out there now with the face-off for the Indians. Number 10 also for Albert Lea, Ross Dahl. Goes back into the corner to the right of the Albert Lea net now. Around behind the net now. Picked up by the Tigers. Ross Dahl with it. Dahl over the blue line. Gets it back down into the Owatonna end. Skating after to Serrato. Serrato, a big gunner for the Tigers. Now picked up again by... Here comes Brad DeWord. DeWord skating down across ice. It's knocked away there by number 5, Mitch Anderson, and it goes up against the boards. Back over to Vinny Serrato again. Serrato getting it back down to Ross Dahl. Dahl just over the blue line. Picked up by McEnany now. McEnany shoots it off to his left. Shoots it right into the stick of Ken Hansen. And it comes back down into the Owatonna end. Into the corner going for it. Hansen along with number 5 for Owatonna. I think that's number 5. Yes, it's Ormson. Round the back of the net now. And Buckley watches closely as it's picked up now by Gary Norman. Norman skating his first shift out there, I believe, coming down into the Albert Lea end again. Tigers pick it up there. Hansen gets it. Hansen across the blue line, getting it back over to Serrato. Serrato passing it over to Ross Dahl. And a shot is taken from the point. Buckley makes a beautiful save from Steve Anderson, and he was really screened in front.
Yes, he was. Exactly, Todd. Tough one because it was a little looper. It wasn't very hard, but he was screened, and picking it up with that glove is tough. But Joe had his eye on it all the way. Stoppage of play. Both teams will change lines.
A lot of blue signs around here. Blue, white, dynamite. Maul her mauler. And do it blue. All over the arena here tonight. Okay, drop of the puck to the left now of Joe Buckley. There's the drop picked up by Albert Lea. Colstrup gets it. Colstrup shoots. Oh, nice save again there by Buckley, and he knocked it away. He got it right in the corner of the crease. Picked up there now and shot all the way down into the Albert Lea zone, and I guess they decided maybe we better stop it right there.
It just missed a pass to Mike Hansen. He was breaking out fast, but he couldn't quite catch up with that one.
Mike said he would like nothing better than to get that first goal of the season tonight. In fact, he walked off the bus tonight. I said, this is it tonight, Mike. Make that goal.
He was really robbed the last game we played on Tuesday night.
Yep. KRFO FM Owatonna, direct from Rochester. Region Hockey. Here it is by Albert Lea now. Hard slap shot. Oh, beautiful save again by Buckley. And he was screened from the point there. Coming back down now into the Owatonna end. And Albert Lea and rather than Carlson is tripped up. Picked up by the Tigers. Round the back of the net now. Todd Dahl gets it. Dahl shooting it back down to Clark Johnson. Johnson over to Todd Leach again. Leach across center ice. Picking it up and down into the Owatonna end it goes. Skating after it is Buckley. Buckley really checked hard. Oh, he's really dumped. And it's picked up now by Carlson. We're going to have a penalty on Albert Lea. Coming up here it is Webster. Webster passes it up in front. Knocked away. Shot taken by Kirkman in front of the net. Oh, around the back of the net it goes. It gets in the netting. Back up to Webster. Webster over to Carlson again now. Carlson's up against the board with it. Finally the puck is frozen. It was so close.
Oh, was it? We had three men there. You could have reached any one of them with your arm, and that puck was all over the place. Tom Anderson very calm, really, as he stood up all the way. He didn't flop down, but we just couldn't find enough room to tuck it away.
No score in the game, and Albert Lea is penalized. I don't know what the penalty's for, but they're skating a man short, and our power play team is coming out there all fresh and ready to go here. No score in the game. Is the penalty. Kirkby or Norman over now to Brad DeWord. DeWord takes a hard slap shot. They dump it in. They score right there. And Orlowski puts it in. The puck was loose right in front of the net, and Orlowski put it in the corner from Brad DeWord.
Well, that took all of about 11 seconds to score that goal. A big one because it's that opening goal. Good hard slap shot by Brad DeWord right from just inside the blue line. Orlowski was there to tap home the rebound.
And Owatonna goes ahead by a score of 1-0 here in this first period of play. Picked up by Brad DeWord, and it's shot, and it was a blistering shot by Brad. The initial stop was made. Orlowski was right there. The net was wide open, and he put it in. Beautiful goal, and we go ahead 1-0.
Penalty was costly to Albert Lea.
Okay, drop of the puck now. Coming over to the left, Orlowski. He can't get it. Picked up again by the Tigers. Number 2, Steve Anderson. Anderson shooting it down into the corner. Picked up there by Ormson. Ormson up against the boards now. And the puck is not frozen. Right in front of the... Oh, beautiful save by Buckley. He kicks it out of the crease there. And it's picked up over there by Ken Hansen now. Hansen going around behind the net again. Into the corner with it. It comes over to Gary Norman. Norman back over to McEnany. And Bob McEnany skates it out again. Brings it down across center ice. Brad DeWord with it. DeWord getting it off the McEnany. Hard slap shot. Oh, beauty. And it goes right next to the pipe. We have a whistle, and what's it going to be? Batting the puck, I believe.
Something...
Not certain, but it's going to be a face-off at center ice.
I guess it climbed up on the boards, and I see there's some guys standing there, and they...
I tell you, my heart's beating so fast here, I can feel it right through my sweater.
Good shot by McEnany. He was just a little off target.
Just a little off target. Okay, to the left now. Drop of the puck again. Albert Lea going after it. Vinny Serrato gets it. Serrato over the blue line now. Picked up there again by Owatonna. Owatonna in front of their own net now. Brings it out to Brad DeWord. DeWord getting it over to McEnany. McEnany shoots. Goaltender comes out and knocks it away as Anderson gets it. Back over again to Mitch Anderson. Anderson getting it over to Serrato. Serrato shoots it to center ice. Ross Dahl getting it. Losing it there to Owatonna. Here comes Brad DeWord over to the right side. He passes it there. Nobody there to pop it in. And it goes over to the other side. Hard slaps up by Ormson. Goes to the left of the net now. And back up again to the point. Coming back after it is Owatonna's Diedrich. Diedrich shooting it back over to Mike Hansen. Hansen coming across the blue line there. And it comes back down across center ice again. Picked up by Mitch Anderson. Anderson for Albert Lea. Takes the shot. Oh, beautiful save. 2 of them by Buckley. And he knocked it out and the puck's still in motion. He got a double save with one with both legs. One leg and the other one the other as he stretched out. Picked up at the blue line now. Coming down into the to the Albert Lea end. Goaltender comes out. Knocks it around behind the net. And Mike Hansen skates after it. Goes into the corner. Hansen checks the man. Getting it up to Albert Lea. Ross Dahl again with it now. And Dahl picking it up. And we have a whistle. Kenny, you having earphone troubles there? I think you're...
No, I'm just adjusting. I can't quite get them where I wanted them.
Okay.
That was an offside call. It was a good breakaway by number 10, Ross Dahl, and he had a winger going with him, but the winger got offside. Buckley, again, made just 2 super saves, one right after the other.
Beautiful.
Halfway through the period now.
Okay, drop of the puck again. 1-0, favor the Indians. As it comes down across center ice now. Davy Kirkfleet skating well thus far. Brings it down into the Albert Lea end now. Skating after it is Webster. Webster into the corner right in front there. Carlson's right there. Tries to dump it in. Back up to Webster. Goaltender finds it going to go up. There's another shot. Oh, just barely hits the pipe and over to the side. Picked up again by Albert Lea now. Coming over to the left of the net. Picking it up is Todd Leach. Leach over the blue line. Skates it across center ice. Getting it back over to Brandt. Brandt tries to score. He can't do it. Can't shoot. Picked up by Doug DeWare. We're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be on Kirkfleet. I believe it'll be on Davy Kirkfleet. We don't know what the penalty is yet.
Oh, a joint penalty. They're both going
joint
off.
Penalty. Well, that helps.
Number 14 for Albert Lea. That's Don Kolstrup. And Dave Kirkfleet, number 4 for the Indians. We'll try and pick that up as to what the call was. That's at 6:21.
1-0 with 6:21 left. The 100th win looking at Ferrado tonight if he can pull this one out, and the winner goes to Bloomington Kennedy on Saturday night. Okay, Brad DeWord giving a few instructions there before the face-off. Well, Bob McEnany's going to come in and take the face-off. There's the drop of the puck now, coming down across center ice again. Picking it up is Ross Dahl now. Dahl getting it back over to Serrato. Serrato just over the blue line. Takes the shot. Buckley makes the save. Picked up there by Doug DeWord now. DeWord shoots it back down. Getting it over to Brad DeWord, and DeWord shoots it down into the Albert Lea end. High stick. Okay, coming back here is Albert Lea now. Albert Lea out of their end. Mitch Anderson with it. Anderson shooting it over to Serrato. Serrato just over the blue line. Going down into the corner with it. Picked up there again in front of the net. And the shot, no shot is taken. Is picked up again by Doug DeWord. Here comes Doug skating across. Picked it up there by Brad DeWord. DeWord shoots, goes right into the skates of Serrato. And that one had to hurt. Picked up again by Serrato. Comes up across center ice. Past the Dahl. Dahl's right on Buckley. And he scores.
One breakthrough, and Dahl was there with Serrato skating with him. He passed it over. A beautiful play. Albert Lea ties it up. Again, that's number 10, Ross Dahl, assist by number 16, Vinny Serrato. All tied up at 1-1. Both teams, we're skating a man short.
Pull him down from the top, Kenny, and you'll have her there. Okay, drop of the puck again at center ice now. Picked up again by Webster. Webster getting it off to Carlson. Carlson takes the shot. Anderson knocks it away to the left now. Picked up there again by Webster. Webster in the corner, centering it out there. Nobody there. Clark Johnson with it now. Johnson down across center ice, and it goes down into the Owatonna end. A neck-and-neck game. It is 1-1, and icing is called. And Broadcasters Club members are Highway Furniture, Lundberg's OK Hardware, the Penny Company, Bob's Country Boy Grocery, Town and Country Real Estate Sales, Owatonna American Legion Post 77, courtesy AMC Jeep of Owatonna, Thunderbird Aviation of Owatonna, the Carpet Cart, Car Wash of Owatonna, Old Highway 14 East, SETI Sports Center, Arctic Cat, Suzuki and Skidoo Dealer, and the Owatonna Shoe Company. Drop of the puck now, coming over to Carlson. Carlson gets it off to his left, shoots it across ice now. Webster skates after it. Todd Dahl beats him to it. He's up against the boards. Webster has the stick in front of him. Dahl passes it off, gets it off to Leach now. Leach back over to Brandt. Brandt over the blue line now. Picked up again by Gary Norman. Norman with it, coming down across center ice again. Back over to Wilker. Wilker shoots. Not a very hard shot. Goes right into Anderson's glove and out again. And is picked up again by Clark Johnson for Albert Lea. Johnson over to Brandt again. Brandt coming down across center ice. Shoots it over. It's picked up there again by Wilker. Wilker now playing defensive position. Gets it off to Bob Carlson. Carlson over the blue line. Back over to Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet turns around. Carlson trying to dump it in there. And the goaltender got it in the knee and knocked it out. And Carlson was right on him. Cross center ice again. Shot is taken from the point by Dan Kolstrup. A 1-1 game here. Coming up now. Around the back of the net is picked up there by the Tigers. They shoot it down to the point. Comes sailing back down into the Owatonna end, and icing is called. And in a game like this, Ken, you can see how important it is to watch yourself so you don't get penalized.
Yes, it is. Bobby Carlson, excellent chance there to score. There were 3 men in close. Again, they were jammed up just a little bit. He didn't get the wood on it that he wanted. And didn't have a lot of net to shoot at, but one of those opportunities on a close game like this, you're not going to get a lot of those.
Okay, to the left of Buckley, the faceoff will come now. 1-1 here with 4:20 left in the first period of hockey. There's the drop of the puck back over to Brad DeWord now. DeWord gets it back to Doug. Doug goes around behind his own net and is taken away there by Buckley. Buckley taking it off. He falls down, but he holds on to the puck. They let him come out now. Buckley shooting it up to center ice, getting it back over to Orlowski, and he shoots it down into the Albert Lea end. McEnany skating after it against the boards there. Around the back of the Tigers net now. Picked up again by Steve Anderson. Anderson shooting it over to Ken Hansen. Hansen shooting it down to Ross Dahl. Dahl across center ice. He's one to watch. Picked up again by the Indians. They shoot it back down. Icing is waved off by the referee, and is picked up by Mitch Anderson around the back of the net. 3:43 left of the first period now. Coming back up to Orlowski. Orlowski skating it over to the left. Back over. He shoots it back over to Doug DeWord. DeWord, hard slap shot. Goes into the skates of Ken Hansen, and the goaltender gets it as it flies in the air.
Well, good play by Orlowski. He saw that there was no room to shoot. Too many people piled up, so he moved it back to that left point just inside the blue line where Doug DeWord got the shot off, but deflected up in the air, and really it wasn't in line with the net. The goaltender did make the glove catch, though.
Tag Block and Mike Diedrich will be our guests after this period. Broadcasters Club, the Kelly Company, Olson Green and Fee, Tincher Peterson and Sincock Insurance, Gillespie Beauty Shop, Alexander Lumber, Summer Sanitation, Demel Heating and Air Conditioning, and Wayne Klinkhammer of Owatonna State Realty. Drop of the puck to Webster now after the faceoff. He gets it over to the left, centering it off to Carlson. Carlson falls down before he can shoot it. He was right on the crease. And back to Carlson. He holds on to it behind the net now. And going in front of him is number 3, Chuck Johnson. Johnson getting it for the Tigers now, getting it back down to Kevin Brandt. Brandt shoots it down to center ice and is picked up again by Ormson. Ormson with the puck at the blue line there. He shot it into the stick of Brandt again, and Brandt got it down there momentarily, but it's picked up again by Albert Lea's Todd Dahl. Dahl at center ice with it now. Comes down across the blue line. He's really checked out of the play. And a hard one there by Ormson. He really let him have it. Coming down across center ice again and down into the Albert Lea zone. The Tigers skate after it. Dahl goes around behind the net. Dahl coming out to the right of the net now, over the blue line. Intercepted there by Kirkfleet, and it's knocked away, and it's picked up again by Albert Lee's number 6, Todd Leach. Leach shoots it off, and a shot is taken. Going around behind the net again now. It's picked up there by Gary Norman. Norman losing it there as he's checked out of the play now. 1-1 game. Picked up here by Todd Dahl. Dahl shoots from the point. It goes over wide and over to the corner. And who's it going to be on?
I think it's Albert Lea, because I think he knocked down our Indian. But
yes, it is. It's going to be on Albert Lea.
He called an interference call, I'm sure. Yes, it is. Interference on Albert Lea. Our man didn't have possession of the puck. It's number 11, Kevin Brandt, picking up that penalty. Good call, too, because the referee was busy over in the other corner, but he saw somebody go down, and no question, the puck wasn't anywhere near him.
Pretty fair student delegation here tonight. A good adult fan delegation. I'm sure Owatonna has far outnumbered the Albert Lea fans here. Drop of the puck now, back over to Brad DeWord. DeWord getting it off to Gary Norman now. We're playing a man to the advantage here in the power play. Gary Norman getting it off to McEnany. McEnany at the blue line, back up to Gary Norman. Norman losing it there, picked up there by Vinny Serrato. Serrato goes in the corner with it, and around the back of the net it goes. Brad DeWord skates after it as it comes over to the right of Joe Buckley. DeWord with the puck, shooting it back around the corner now. And it's picked up there by Gary Norman. That's intercepted as he tries to shoot it off to Brad DeWord, and it's picked up by Serrato. He's a dangerous man to have intercept one, and it gets knocked back into the corner again. Serrato's still after it, and we're having problems getting it out of our end. Finally, here it comes now. Gary Norman. Norman getting it off to McEnany. Over to Carlson. At center ice, Carlson can't get it there. Ross Dahl gets it. He's right on Buckley, and he scores! A man short.
That's what hurts. Really hurts. And, you know, Todd, you can't say you knew it was coming, but we should not spend a minute getting it out of our zone, and that's about what we did.
Yep. Minute and 37 seconds left, and they have gone ahead by a score of 2-1.
There's no question. Number 10, Ross Dahl, is every bit the man that he's been rated to be. We'll have to see if they give any assists, but he's picked up both of those Albert Lea goals. Indians have 44 seconds with a man advantage, and it would be beautiful to tie this game up.
Yes, it would.
Sometime within that 44 seconds.
Minute and 37 left of the first period. Albert Lea goes ahead by a goal, 2-1. Drop of the puck goes back over to Brad DeWord now. DeWord at the blue line there with it, skates it back. getting it over, and he gets it lost. He loses it there to Albert Lea. Right in front of the net it goes, and over to the other side, picked up there by Kirkfleet now. Kirkfleet in the corner. Getting it back over to Doug DeWord now. DeWord falls down. It's picked up again by Serrato. Serrato takes the shot, goes by the net. Over to the other side, picked up by Webster. Webster at the point now, getting it off to Brad DeWord. Finally, it comes down across center ice. Here comes Webster. He loses the puck there, and it goes into Vinny Serrato. Serrato across center ice, brings it down over the blue line. And it's picked up again by Carlson. Carlson getting it back up to Doug DeWord. 5 seconds left of their penalty is all. Doug getting it off to his left, intercepted there by Albert Lea again. And the Tigers in their end pick it up with 52 seconds left of the period, and they're skating at full strength. Ross Dahl now. Dahl coming down across the blue line. Puck goes awry as two men fall down, and it goes over to the corner. Picked up there by by Davey Kirkfleet now. Kirkfleet up against the boards, and he stops it there. Owatonna not handling that puck well on their end with a man short, or with a man to the advantage.
Very dangerous changing lines there, too. They came off all of them at one time, and Ross Dahl was still on, and he was pouring down with a right winger, and fortunately, Doug DeWord was able to stop him.
So we have a 2-1 game in favor of the Tigers, as Owatonna takes the face-off now to the left of Buckley. It's picked up there by Mike Hansen now. Hansen getting it back down to over the blue line, over to Diedrich. Diedrich fighting for the puck as he goes down into the corner with it there. Puck is kicked away with skates now. Picked up there by Albert Lea. Dan Kolstrup getting it back over to Brandt again now. Kevin Brandt over the blue line there. Tries to center it out in front. Buckley's there. He skates over to one side. Against the boards, it goes into the corner and is picked up there by Todd Leach for the Tigers. They're fighting for it. Puck is up against the boards and finally blown dead. And Broadcasters Club members include Oakdale Motel, Associated Milk Producers, Criscow's Pharmacy, Fraternal Order of Eagles, the Pepsi Bottling Company, and Mankato Distributors of Pepsi in Owatonna, Anderson Sheet Metal, and Ken Corey's North Cedar Auto Body.
Well, Indians obviously up a little tight right at this point. Only 4 seconds left in this period.
And there's the drop of the puck coming back down over to Buckley now. Brett Buckley around the back of the net. That's the end of the period. And the Indians skate off a goal down. Far from out of the game, certainly. But it would have been nice either to tie it up or have that one-goal lead. And they scored a man short. I didn't actually see what the mistake was, but somebody got away.
I'm afraid we're picking up a penalty right at the closing second, Todd.
Okay, we'll find out here.
We do.
Broadcasters Club members are Ed's Repair Service, Vern Ehlers of Hines Insurance Agency, Farm Equipment Dealers Association, Flash Thrift Shop, Clarence Kennelly and John Birkenes of the First Selected Securities, Gillespie Real Estate, Culligan Soft Water Service, and Gamble's Hardware and Appliance of Owatonna. Our period break being brought to you this evening on this by Urbon's Heating and Air Conditioning of Owatonna, and also brought to you by Farm and Home of Owatonna. And I believe Kenny has the rundown now of the period.
Okay, Joe Buckley in the net had 8 stops in that first period. A couple of them were real big ones. In fact, probably 3 we should credit as big ones. Tom Anderson in the Albert Lea Tiger net had 10. 2 or 3 of those were from close in, and he handled them well. Indians did open up the scoring about halfway through the period. It was one of those where number 10, Brad DeWord, inside the blue line with the power play, shot that blistering slap shot. Anderson in goal handled it for the Tigers, but number 7, Brian Orlowski, was right there to tap in that rebound. Took Albert Lea about 3 minutes exactly to come back and get that tying goal. It was number 10, Ross Dahl, picking it up, assist by number 16, Vinny Serrato. Then farther on into the period, about a minute and a half left, Indians were one man to the advantage, but on a breakout, number 10 again for Albert Lea, Ross Dahl came down unassisted and drilled one in the lower right corner. Buckley didn't make a move on it, at least not a good move, and Albert Lea went ahead 2-1. Penalties, Albert Lea had one for holding. They had another one jointly slashing penalty for Albert Lea and a high-sticking penalty for number 4, Davey Kirkfleet. Then the Albert Lea interference call, at which time they scored with the man advantage. And I'm not sure this, Todd, but I am pretty sure that we picked up a rather foolish penalty. It was number 16, Brett Buckley, who was roughing a little bit with one of the other people, and he cross-checked a guy, and the referee picked it up just as the horn was sounding. So I believe he'll be spending, in fact, I see it's up on the board now, he'll be spending a minute and a half off the ice, and the Indians will have to go shorthanded right when they first start that period, which really hurts.
That's a tough break, that's for sure. Well, I'm confident the Indians can handle this. It is not going to be an easy game for either team. We're well aware of that. However, I do think that Albert Lea took it to us a little bit there toward the latter part of that period, and I'm sure the coaches will be working on this during this period break and doing a lot of strategy here in coming back out on the ice. And, of course, we're down a minute and a half, a man short, which is not a good situation to start out the period with, but it's one of those things that we'll have to do. Say, we want to remind you that now is the time to see Mutt Manichek at Urban's Heating and Air Conditioning here in Owatonna. Take a look at those air conditioning units. That's right, going to get hot this summer, and Mutt can do it for you in an economical way and put a fine Urban Heating and Air Conditioning Lennox air conditioner. They also have the Lennox Total Comfort System for your home. It's called the Total Comfort System because it controls more than temperature. It removes excess humidity in the summer, and it controls and adds humidity to dry air in the winter. That's why Lennox calls it a Total Comfort System. It gives you more than just warm or cool air. It gives you total comfort. Ask Urban Heating and Air Conditioning about the Lennox Total Comfort System. Urban's is located at 113 East Pearl in Owatonna. Call on them soon. It'll be the most comfortable thing you've ever done. Mutt Manichek, a great backer of the Owatonna Indians hockey team, and Urban's Heating and Air Conditioning in Owatonna. Let's talk with our period guests here now tonight. Well, for our period break, we have two guys with us here who probably you may have been seeing a little bit more in the varsity games over the latter part of the season than the first part of the season. Tag Block, who is a senior, and also Mike Diedrich, who is a junior. And both these guys have really been doing a great job and been playing a little bit more on that varsity lineup. Tag, I guess you have been playing now how many games varsity?
Well, I don't know. It's been off and on throughout the season. They sometimes put me up there when they need me, but...
I see. Well, you've been doing pretty well, really. You think you've been playing pretty well the last couple games?
I don't know. Red Wing game, I don't think I played my best, but it's hard to get up for a team like that.
Yeah.
Just didn't put out all my effort. I know I could do better, but...
Right. Yeah, it's kind of tough. You know, when you get a team like the Red Wing game, it's by the time you get halfway through the game and their doldrums are down to the point that they aren't doing anything right, and they aren't really very organized, pretty hard to play against them, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
You're a senior now. How long have you played hockey?
Well, I played hockey since Pee-wees, and that Pee-wee team was before they had squirts and tripods and that, so it's been quite a while.
Oh, yeah. How'd you get the nickname Tag? Any reason?
Yeah, I was the last one born in the family, and more or less tagged along.
Tagged along, huh? Well, I wouldn't have guessed that one in a million years. It kind of stemmed from the family rather than the guys, for sure. Well, okay, and you, of course, are playing up there in the front lines. Have you always played wing? Or?
Yeah, well, when I first started out, I played defense, but I don't know, I was always making an offside play or something, so they put me on wing, and since then, that's where I've been.
That's where you've been. Do you have any preference at all, or not?
No, well, I had never played defense again now after I played wing, so I'll stick with that.
Okay, now by the time we're doing this particular interview with you, the game is already underway here at Rochester, but we're doing this interview, of course, before the game. And, of course, during practice here, Albert Lea has beat us 3 times in a row. Let's go over to Mike here and ask you what your thoughts are about the Albert Lea squad and how you feel you can do against them. We can do against them.
Well, since they beat us them first 2 times, I think everybody should be up pretty well for this game because nobody on the team really likes Albert Lea, and they beat us the last 3 times we played them, and I don't know, we just don't really like those guys, so I think we're going to stick it to them pretty good.
Yeah, you know, it used to be, it was all Owatonna-Rochester rivalry, and I guess maybe it's kind of turned around a little bit, and at least this year, the Albert Lea-Owatonna rivalry seems to be the one that's the biggest one, doesn't it?
Yeah, they just... I don't know, they're beating us in almost every sport this year, and I don't know, I just hope we can knock them out of the regions.
Yeah. Well, Mike here is one guy who's really done a super job thus far. He's been out, called on to play on the varsity either halfway through a game or at the last minute on a game, and I want to tell you, every time you go out there, it seems like you score a goal.
I don't know, it just seems the last 2 games I just been in the right spot at the right time. I couldn't buy a goal at the beginning of the season, and now I don't know, I must be making up up for it or something.
I guess you... In fact, Mike Hansen shakes his head, said, I've been playing that position all year long, and I haven't been able to buy a goal, and Diedrich comes out there, and he scores them just like that. But you really have been in the right place at the right time, I guess, and it's fun to do, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I thought last night, I guess that was the team to get a goal against, and 15 of them, so I thought I'd
take a few of them.
Yeah.
Mike, how long have you played hockey? Of course, the Diedrich family is hockey from the word go.
Oh, since fourth grade, I started in Pee Wee.
And then all the way up the ranks in the City League and the whole
Yeah.
What do you think about, of course, you're a junior. You're looking forward to playing next year. And what do you think about the team now at this point, end of the season? Every game we play now, it's either you win it or you hang up the skates. Do you think that you're gelled about as much as you can be, or what?
Yeah, I think everybody's improved a lot. I think, it's just so much easier now than compared to the beginning of the year. You know where everybody on your line's going to be a little bit better. You can look it up. You skate better with the puck. You just feel more relaxed.
Yeah, right. Have you played wing most of your hockey career or not?
Well, when I was younger, I always played wing, and then I started playing center last year on B squad, and when I played midgets, and now this year I've been playing both wing and center.
Oh, yeah, good for you. Well, you're doing a great job, Mike, and we're all proud of you, and I know that you enjoy getting out there and batting those pucks in the net, and that's an important thing to do right about now, isn't it, huh?
Yeah.
I guess so. And any plans, Tag, for you next year? What's up for you? Any idea?
No, I really haven't decided just where I'm going to be next year. Right now, I don't think I'll be going to college or anything, but vocational school kind of looks like an opening.
Well, maybe we'll see you here with the senior league next year.
Right. Could be.
Okay. Well, guys, we wish you the best here as we continue with our region play here. Our guests have been Tag Block and Mike Diedrich of the Owatonna Indians. And here in the first period of play, it is 2-1 in favor of Albert Lea Tigers. The ice has now been completed, and cheerleaders are out there doing their thing right at the moment here, and we're at a lull here between the first and second period. Kenny was mentioning to me that you felt the Indians looked awful tight out there this first period.
Well, yeah, I did, Todd. They weren't skating with the same ease. Oh, there were 2 or 3 exceptions, of course, but really, I didn't think the boys were just relaxed like they should be. The passing wasn't quite as crisp, and some of the play inside the Tiger blue line wasn't as well done as we are accustomed to seeing, but this isn't unusual. A lot of pressure on them. I guess if that's the case, fine that we're only 1 goal down. It was an unfortunate break because we were pressing with the man advantage, and of course, how many times do you see that happen where the opponent with a man short, somebody gets a break, and if he's a good shooter, such as Ross Dahl, number 10, he doesn't miss too many times on that open break.
Yeah, that's for sure. A dangerous man to get open, and he did just exactly that. Well, we are at between the first and second period. Again, other games being played tonight in the region are Mayo and St. Peter here at the Rochester Arena. That will be the second game tonight. And also Rosemont will beat Burnsville tonight at Burnsville. Actually, Rosemont was not that far out of Burnsville when they played them during the regular season, but I would have to pick Burnsville on that one. Farmington meets Lakeville, and that no doubt will be probably a pretty one-sided game there with Farmington as well. So I guess you might, as we said earlier, this is probably the closest game of the 2 of the 4 games that are being played tonight. The winner will go at the Bloomington Arena of this game on Saturday night. Incidentally, on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, Bloomington-Lincoln will probably be playing, we'll be probably playing Farmington. Bloomington-Lincoln plays, no, I beg your pardon, let's go back to Owatonna. John Marshall will play the winner of Game 10, which will probably be Burnsville, because Burnsville will meet Rosemont tonight. And that'll be a 4 o'clock game Saturday afternoon at the Four Seasons as they move into the region. And the 7:30 game Saturday night, Bloomington-Jefferson will meet the winner of Game 9, which will probably be Mayo, because Mayo will play St. Peter. Obviously, it'll be Mayo. So Bloomington-Jefferson will meet Mayo on Saturday night. So a couple of real fine hockey games Saturday at the Four Seasons Arena. Hopefully, we won't be there to see it, because we hope that we'll be up at Bloomington.
Right, Todd, and well, again, a lot of people ask why these other towns playing in our arena and why are we playing away, and it's the same answer that the only way is you have to schedule ice ahead of time. You don't know the way that these teams are going to be seated, so you take and you actually contract with the arenas, and of course Bill Carlson did the contracting for certain dates that he had opened, and then whatever teams happen to fall in line with playing on those dates, that's the way it goes. You can't play the home team necessarily.
Well, the Indians are coming out on the ice now. We'll be back after this from Farm and Home.
The season's biggest savings event continues at the Farm and Home store in Owatonna. 20% off the already low discount prices on all winter jackets and snowmobile suits in stock. Get thermal insulated underwear, the patent jacket, regularly $11.88, now only $8.88. And the hooded thermal sweatshirt. Farm and Home has them with zipper front and priced now at just $7.77. Those Big Smith insulated coveralls, regularly $27.99. Farm and Home sale price at just $22.99. Big savings on snowmobile boots too. The adult size boots regularly $11.98. Sale price right now at just $9.99. Children's sizes selling at just $8.99. Big savings on snow tires too. You'll save $8 a pair on any snow tire purchase. Many other savings throughout the store at Farm and Home. And remember, it won't be too long before we'll see the green grass peeping through. Get their lawnmower checked over right now. Get it ready to go with the help of 2 trained mechanics right there at Farm and Home, 225 West Rose in Owatonna.
Well, down here at the net, Cubby McGrath and Joe Buckley talking together. McGrath giving him a good pat as he goes out. It's really a goaltender's nightmare when you get scored on a man short. I'm sure of that, but here goes Buckley skating into the penalty box now. And we will skate a man short here. And this game being brought to you by the Broadcasters Club, including Jeanette's Beauty Salon, King Tut's Pizza Palace, Owatonna Auto Clinic, Owatonna Meats Incorporated, Cy Hennish, your Monarch Life Insurance Agent, Farm and Home Store, Truth Incorporated, First Federal Savings, and VIP Realtors on Hoffman Drive.
Okay, skating off this penalty will be Brad DeWord, number 10 on the right wing, Bobby McEnany on the left wing, and then the 2 defensemen, Gary Norman on the left, and number 5, Lenny Ormson on the right.
Joe Buckley will be in the net here closest to us. We are located in a tower here down at the south end of the arena, and we're on the end of the ice really here. How about a good viewpoint?
If there was ever a minute and a half that's important, it's now, because we can't afford to give up another goal at this point.
Okay, drop of the puck now after the face-off. Goes down to Albert Lee's zone. Todd Dahl skating after it. Goes around the back of his net. Stops there as Albert Lee skates a man to the advantage for a minute and 20 seconds left. Here comes Todd Dahl with it. Dahl skates it off, brings it down across center ice now. Skating it back over to number 9, Ken Hansen. Hansen back to Dahl again, back to Hansen. And Gary Norman dumps it back down into the Albert Lee end. I'm sure the Indians are just waiting to get full strength again so they can go out and start pounding. Back of the net again, Albert Lee.
Brad DeWord's head looks like he's on a swivel there as he looks at each man, watching him come down.
Coming across center ice now is Albert Lee as they bring it down there. Number 14, Dan Kolstrup gets it and is knocked back down again across center ice. Going back down into the Owatonna, or to the Albert Lee end again. Brad DeWord with it. DeWord gets it up into the corner and is picked up again by Albert Lee. Less than a minute, 38 seconds left of the penalty. Coming down across center ice again. And Albert Lee picking it up just over the blue line. Serrato getting it, putting it right there. Oh, just by Buckley's stick. And over to the other side. That was a close one as number 10, Ross Dahl, was right in front of him there. At the blue line now. Todd Dahl with it. Getting it back over to Ken Hansen. Hansen can't shoot it. Back over to Dahl again now. Dahl at the blue line. Dahl taking a hard slap shot. Buckley gets it in his glove. He was waiting for it.
You bet, Joe, right there.
15 seconds left of the penalty. That clock seems to run awful slow.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, okay.
No, I didn't know if I was unplugged or something, Todd.
Oh, did you hit your wire there? We should see all the wires we got here, folks. Can't believe it. All this new rigmarole we got here. Okay, drop of the puck again now. Coming back down to center ice again. Coming up, Albert Lee. Todd Dahl with it again. Dahl shooting it over to the center ice now. Picked up there again by Albert Lee. Number 10, Ross Dahl. Dahl at center ice. Comes over the blue line. Passing it over to the right. Ken Hansen with it. Hansen back to Todd Dahl again. And we are at full strength now as Buckley comes out. We skated off the penalty. Gary Norman now. Norman across center ice. Down into the Albert Lee end. Tigers pick it up there again. Brad DeWord watching. Gets a stick over there in front of it as they come over the blue line. Number 16, Vinny Serrato. Serrato shooting it down to Hansen again. He goes around behind Buckley. Gary Norman falls down now. McEnany picking it up. He falls down and trips. Puck is up against the net again, or the boards rather, and Serrato picks it up. Serrato to the right of the net. Puck goes in the netting, and Buckley holds it there.
Probably just as well, because really the Indians were just regrouping, trying to get a line change and everything else. So really it was just as well that the play was stopped right there.
12:54 left of the second period. The Indians down a goal, 2-1. Here's the drop of the puck to the right of Buckley now. Goes over to the right. Brett Buckley picks it up. Into the corner. Shooting it there. Picked up there by Kirkfleet now. Kirkfleet against the boards with it. Coming up now. Davy Kirkfleet shooting it across ice. Pass to Webster. Goes wide and it goes down. It goes into the goaltender stick, so no icing is called. And is picked up again by Albert Lea. Tigers coming down with it once again. Number 6 for the Tigers, Todd Leach brings it down. Getting it down to the Owatonna end around the back of the Indians' net is Doug DeWord. DeWord getting it off to Webster. Webster knocking it down. Buckley going after it behind his own net. He's being fought hard, checking against Todd Dahl again. Right in front of the net there. Buckley knocks it away with his stick, and here comes Bob Carlson. Carlson over the blue line. Gets it down across center ice. Over the blue line again. Over to the center. Tried to pass it over to Kirkfleet. Goes to the right. Over to Webster. Shot is taken. It's intercepted. And it comes over to Albert Lea again. They bring it down across center ice. Picked up there again by Doug DeWord. And DeWord's going to shoot it down into the Albert Lea zone. Webster with it. Webster shoots it. Rebounds it off the corner board. Tried to get it back to Carlson. Webster goes after it again. Up against the board. Shoots it from the side. Goaltender by Anderson. Knocks it away. Passing over to the other side of the ice now. Goes into the corner. Dahl with it again. Todd Dahl losing it over there to Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet shoots off in front, and nobody can get a stick on it. There's a shot right in the crease there, and Anderson kicks it away. Picked up again now by Albert Lea again as they bring it down across center ice again. Skates around Brett Buckley. Shot is taken. He looks for a center man. It's number 11, Kevin Brandt. Brandt shooting it up at center ice now. He falls down, and going after it is Davy Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet shooting it off to Carlson while he's down on his knees, and Carlson shoots it back down into the Albert Lea end. Shot is taken there, and Anderson decides to fall on it.
Not much weight on it. It was well, I can't even see his number to see who took the shot. Todd, am I coming through on the...
Yep.
Oh, okay. My ears, I'm sure. There we go.
Oh, maybe I haven't got you turned up quite as loud.
There
okay.
we go.
Oh, we wouldn't miss those golden tones, Wilcox.
Yeah.
To the right of the net now. Picked up again there by Kirkfleet. Or Norman, rather. Norman shoots it from the point. McEnany skates after it. He dumps it back down into the corner now. It's picked up there again by number 5, Mitch Anderson. Anderson with it for Albert Lea, passing it over to his center. They shoot it back down into the Owatonna end. Buckley kicks it away with his stick, and it goes over to the corner. Picked up there by Ken Hansen for Albert Lea. Tigers passing it over to Dahl. Picked up again by Brad DeWord now. DeWord skates it down across center ice. He goes into all kinds of traffic, and Mitch Anderson picks it up again, dumps it back down across center ice. Gary Norman getting it back up to Orlowski, and is shot back down into the Albert Lea end. Tigers skating after it behind their net. Mitch Anderson with it. McEnany goes around behind the net as well. Over to the other side now. Picked up again by Gary Norman. He fires one from the point. Goes wide. 2-1 game, favor of Albert Lea. Picked up again there by Wilker now. Wilker back to McEnany. McEnany can't hold on to it. It's at center ice now. Albert Lea trying to dump it down into the Owatonna end. Hard checking going on, and the puck is knocked back down into the Albert Lea zone. Icing waved off. It goes around the back of the net. Mitch Anderson with it for the Tigers. Brad DeWord watches him, shoots it down at center ice now. Wilker watching as he brings it down over the blue line now, passing it back over to Serrato. Nice shot there taken from the corner, and it goes around the back of the net. It was wide. Picked up again by Brad DeWord now. DeWord coming down across the blue line, takes the shot, and Anderson gets it, scoops it away, goes around the back. He falls down as he does it, but he gets it around behind his net. Steve Anderson getting it for the Tigers. Mike Hansen fighting for it in there, passing it off to center ice, and it's picked up there again by the Tigers. Tigers bring it down across center ice again. Number 16, Serrato again. Serrato putting it right in front. Oh, beautiful opportunity there. And we're going to have a penalty on somebody, and who's down? Number 18, I believe, and that would be Mike Hansen. He's shaken up.
A real pile-up, and we'll have to see what...
it's number 8. It's Chris Wilker.
It's Wilker getting the gate. Indians...
I think he's got the wind knocked out of him.
Indians, Chris Wilker.
And Dudley Otto comes out of the bench to come over. Wilker is down, but he's on his stomach. He's getting up now on his knees. And I'm sure he'll be okay. I think he got the wind. He was breathing pretty hard. Broadcasters Club members include Owatonna Bus Company, St. Clair's, First National Bank, Bozoski Sign Company, Owatonna Canning Company, Oma Festal Foods, the Elks Club of Owatonna, and Schultz Realty. And Wilker is nodding his head. That's not Wilker. That's Tag Block.
Yeah, I mixed you up. I said Wilker went into the box, Todd. He got the penalty for elbowing.
Oh, Wilker went into the box.
Yeah. So we got the worst of both ends of it there.
Tag Block's a little shaky as he comes off the ice, and I'm sure Dr. Word will be down there to take a look at him. He was pretty well banged against the boards, and now we set out another penalty. That's all we need.
Indians very successfully skated off that last one, but we really don't need to take another minute and 30 seconds skating off one here, but that's what we're going to have to do. No scoring. In fact, not even a lot of shots in this period.
You know, Kenny, there is a rule, I believe, here where if you submit your original roster, and then you lose a man to an injury or something, you cannot replace him. I believe that's a rule for the region.
Probably right.
Okay, here we go now. Face-off will be a man short. Brad DeWord to the right of the net now. Albert Lea will be in control. It goes to the blue line. Back down over to Todd Leach now. Leach getting it, shooting it back over toward Colstrup. He can't get on it. It's picked up by Ormson. Ormson shoots it all the way down to center ice, and it's picked up there by Dahl again now. 2-1 game with Albert Lea in the lead. A close one here. And we have a whistle. Offsides. Broadcasters Club, Martin's Hostel Bicycle Shop, Owatonna State Bank, Adams Food Market, Sherwin-William Paints on North Cedar, Lindsay Soft Water, and Harlan's Tire Service.
Well, the Indians still have to skate that man short for another minute and 13 seconds.
And Wilker is in the penalty box. Drop of the puck goes back to Gary Norman now. Norman shoots it. It goes down into the Owatonna, or to the Albert Lea end, and the more we can do that, the better. Goes over to Clark Johnson. Johnson with it now for Albert Lea. Brings it down across center ice again now. Shooting it over to his right. Gets it over to Colstrup again now. And Colstrup goes down in the corner with it. Gary Norman knocks it away. Goes around the corner. Picked up there by Albert Lea Tigers. Todd Leach. And we have it going out of play as it goes into the player's box. 49 seconds left with Walker in the penalty box. And we have by far, well, let's see, we're about tied up. I didn't realize Albert Lea had that many penalties. They had 3. We've got, this is our 3rd.
Right. Albert Lea fans very noisy, encouraging their boys. Shouting across the way to the Owatonna fans. Owatonna fans a little quiet at this point, of course, because we are skating off the penalty.
Okay, drop of the puck again now. Picked up there after the faceoff by Ken Hansen. Hansen centering. Oh! Good shot again, just to the right of the pipe, and it's picked up again by Albert Lea at the point now. Walker's getting ready to come out. Number 6, Todd Leach, shoots it across the net. 36 seconds left of the penalty, and Gary Norman is really hit hard as it comes down across center ice again. Todd Dahl with it now. Dahl across center ice, passing it off to his left. Shot is taken by number 16, Vinny Serrato, and Buckley knocks it away and is dumped back down into the Albert Lea end. 20 seconds left.
No icing on that one.
We're a man short.
We still do have man short. Okay.
Walker is still in the box there. Now it comes out again. Albert Lea to the left of their net, or to the right of their net. Picking it up, Todd Leach. Skates it all the way down. Mitch Anderson with it now. Anderson, as they set up there, hits the pipe on the side, bounces away. 1 second, that's the end of the penalty, and we'll skate a man to the man even, or even up now. Okay, coming up now, Albert Lea with it. Albert Lea with a puck, getting it across ice to Ross Dahl. Dahl getting it over to Todd Dahl, his brother. Dahl back to center ice to Ken Hansen. Hansen in the corner with it now. And he gets it back around behind the net. Skating after it is Ormson. Ormson skates hard for it, goes over to the corner. It's knocked up to the blue line there again. Owatonna's McEnany shooting it down into the Albert Lea end. It goes past the goaltender, and he allows the icing to be called. 7:40 left of the period. 2-1 favor of the Tigers here at this point.
Indians getting that change now after their penalty killing unit goes off.
Broadcasters Club members, Central Co-op Oil, Swin Matson, agent for Northwestern Mutual, Fairlane's Bowling Alley, Reserve Supply, Bickford Radio TV, Stuart Dock and Interior Decorator, Happy Chef Restaurant, and JC Press and JC Office Products. Drop of the puck now, goes to the right of Buckley. Brett Buckley skates hard there. Shot taken by number 14, Dan Colstrup, and it goes up, hits the pipe, and back out again. Back to the point again. Now it comes to Albert Lea, and we have a offsides call, and we'll have a face-off at center ice.
Right, they'll bring it all the way back 2 lines because it wasn't intentional. Well, Todd, that's 2 of them we've skated off, but we don't need any more because that's what took us down on that last game with too many penalties.
Bob Carlson now. Carlson shoots it over to the left after the face-off, and skating after it is Doug DeWord. DeWord getting it up to Bob Carlson. Carlson over to his right, getting it off to Webster. Webster at the blue line there, loses it there, chops away at it though, comes just over into the Albert Lea zone, passes it down, going after it is Carlson again now. Carlson getting it up in front, shot is taken by Carlson, and the goaltender knocks it away from the side. Harvey Carlson again now, right in front of the net, goes across the crease and over to the other side. Picked up there again by Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet over to Doug DeWord. DeWord takes a shot, right in front, there's a shot taken. Nice shot again, and they score and tie it up.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And it's Kirk. No, it was who put it in, number 2, Bob Carlson, number 9.
That's great to see, Todd, because Bobby worked hard for that one. He really kept it in the zone a long time, and he really worked hard on it. We'll have to pick up those assists. That was at 6:56 in the second period, 6:56 remaining, that is. So
Owatonna ties it up, and it is now 2-all. 2-2 after it. He goes against the board. Picked up by Albert Lea. Mitch Anderson gets it now. Shooting it back down over to Kent Hansen. Hansen back down to Owatonna now. Owatonna gets it behind their net, getting it off to McEnany. McEnany back over to Chris Wilker again now. Wilker skates around behind his own net. Stops there. Decides to take it right in front. Oh, Buckley had to make a stop from Wilker there. He lost the puck momentarily. Picked up again by Brad DeWord now. DeWord shooting it down to Orlowski. He shoots it, goes wide. Hits the corner now. McEnany trying to center it down to Brad DeWord. Picked up there again by Ross Dahl for Albert Lea. Now back down again to Gary Norman. Norman at the blue line. Pumps it up to center ice. Orlowski knocking him back down into the Albert Lea end. A 2-2 game, and there is feverish talking going on in the players' box with the coaches and the Indians. Back down at center ice again now. Picked up there by Albert Lea. Hard checking there by Wilker up against the boards, and the puck is finally frozen. And Broadcasters Club members Leroy Cowing, your State Farm Insurance agent, Farmers Feed and Supply, Highlight Homes Incorporated, Smith Electric, Dawes Hardware, and Russell Shoe Store.
Okay, we'll go back and give those assists. It was Bobby Carlson, number 9, assisted by Dave Kirkfleet, number 4, and number 17, Mark Webster on that last goal.
So it's a tie game here as we come to Serrato. Serrato shoots, goes wide of the left of the net, picked up by Orlowski rather. Orlowski shooting it down to the corner, and it goes into Albert Lea's possession again. Right in front of the net, they try to shoot it. Coming back, hard slap shot. Brad DeWord, a beautiful job of blocking it there. And it comes back down across center ice. Brad DeWord with it now. He can't get a stick on the puck, and it goes sailing around behind the Albert Lea net. Coming back down, the Tigers. Serrato with it. Down across center ice now. Brings it down into the Owatonna, and Serrato shoots. Blocked again by Wilker. Coming back over to Ross Dahl. Dahl trying to get it back to Serrato. Wilker really checking hard against the boards. He's really working. Picked up again there by Ross Dahl again, and we're going to have a penalty.
Wilker for tripping. On Wilk. He hit the man. He had him tied up. The guy, Dahl started to get away from him, so he stuck that leg out. Really didn't mean it, but trip it was at 5:20.
So we'll skate off another minute and a half. I'm sure glad we got a tie game going here anyway. Wilker very disappointed, and Owatonna now goes ahead by one penalty if you want to count those. Okay, goaltender, I'm so nervous here I can't even get my people right. Referee blows the whistle because Carlson was over talking to the box over there apparently.
Referee a little anxious to get the game underway, and of course the Indians want to slow it down just a little bit to get reorganized.
Okay, Kirkley talking to Doug DeWord behind him there. Face-off will be to the right of Buckley now. Coming down to the point again. Picked up there by Mitch Anderson. Anderson with it. Shooting it back over to Todd Dahl. Dahl takes the hard slap shot. Goes right into Buckley's glove, and he stops it, and the whistle is blown. Oh, Buckley in a beautiful save there. 2-2 game here, and Wilker sitting on another penalty.
That shot could have been just a little wide of the net, but the important thing is to stop that play so that you can't get it around in front.
Okay, drop of the puck again now. Goes back to Albert Lea along the blue line. Picked up there again by Ross Dahl. Dahl with it. Doug DeWord falls on his knees to block it. And Buckley makes a beautiful save there again as he knocks it out. Picked up again by Bob Carlson. And Carlson rebounds off the boards, and it goes all the way down into the Albert Lea end. Minute and 4 seconds left of the penalty with a 2-2 hockey game here. Around behind the net again. Second period of play as we come out now. Clark Johnson with it. Johnson for Albert Lea. Beg your pardon. Kevin Brandt, rather. Brandt brings it down across the blue line now. Getting it off to Davey Kirkfleet in front of the net there. Kirkfleet works with it and escapes back to Bob Carlson. Carlson dumps it back down into the Albert Lea end again.
Two good clearing passes by Bobby Carlson.
And Tom Anderson goes after it, but he can't put a stick on it out of the net, and so it's picked up now again by the Tigers as they bring it out of their zone. Picked up there by Kent Hansen. Or beg your pardon, yes, Kent Hansen. Hansen coming down into the Owatonna and goes around behind the net. It's intercepted there by Doug DeWord. DeWord shooting it right up to the point. Todd Dahl. Dahl getting it back down over to Ross Dahl. Dahl getting it over to Kent Hansen again. Hansen behind the net. Buckley really watching it there, and he stopped another one as they went right by the corner. Davey Kirkfleet now shooting it down to Bob Carlson at center ice, and it's intercepted by Dahl. 7 seconds left of Wilker's penalty, and it comes down across center ice. Picked up there by Ross Dahl. Dahl across, picked up by Serrato. Serrato with it. Shoots. Puck goes up over Buckley's net, and we are at full strength now. It's picked up again by Serrato behind the Owatonna net, but Doug DeWord comes out with it. And DeWord brings it down across the blue line, shooting it over to Bob Carlson again. Carlson getting it off to Webster. Webster shoots from the side. Beautiful shot made, but it was around the back of the net. Into the corner now. Picked up there by Serrato again for the Tigers. Play is down on the Albert Lea end. Serrato brings it out now. He passes it over to center ice. Picked up by Steve Serrato. Serrato brings it down, takes the shot over to Ross Dahl. Dahl shoots. Buck Buckley falls on it to his right, and he stops the play.
Great stop by Joe Buckley. It was up high, tough one to handle. He not only stopped it, but he got it off to the side of the net, pounced on it to stop play so they could get that change of lines. 3:17 left. We've got a real humdinger of a game here with a 2-2 score.
Stick right with us, 2-2. Drop of the puck now to the right of the net again. There's the drop. Goes over to the right. Brad DeWord goes up in the air and behind him. He gets it. Shoots it over. Callstrup gets it for the Tigers. He shoots it up to the point now. Goes back into the corner again. Picked up there by Mitch Anderson. Anderson shooting it back down to Brad DeWord. DeWord over the blue line now. Back down again at center ice. Picked up there by Gary Norman. Norman over the blue line. Getting it back down to Callstrup for Albert Lea, and the Tigers shoot it down. It goes by Buckley. His shirt is just wet. Picked up again now as it goes across ice by Albert Lea. Hard slap shot by Chuck Johnson right in front. Oh, the net is open there, but it went by the pipe. There's another fan shot in front of the net, and finally it's knocked away. McEnany skates after it. Picked up again by the Tigers, shooting it back over to Todd Leach. Nice job there by Orlowski as he broke up the play. Again a shot, and they put it in right from the point. It went by Buckley. He was partially screened there, and he thought he had a little wood on it, but he didn't, and they go ahead 3-2.
I didn't pick up the man who shot that one. Did you, Todd?
I think it was number 3, Clark Johnson, but I'm not certain.
We will in just a second.
2 minutes and 30 seconds left of the second period, and Albert Lea goes ahead by a goal again. Doug DeWord comes down, talks to Buckley. Don't get your doldrums down. At center ice now. Bobby Carlson gets it off to his left. Doug DeWord with it now. DeWord getting it just over to the blue line, and we have an offsides called. Broadcasters Club members, Brown Photo Art Cove, Timmer's Floral Shop, Fogel Motorola TV Sales, Conkey Jewelers, Howie's Standard Service, Juanas Insurance Agency, Great Plains Glass, Gas, and the Coast to Coast Store. Drop of the puck again now, center ice. Coming back over to Todd Dahl for the Tigers. Dahl shoots it down. It goes by Buckley's net, and skating into it is brother Brett. Brett Buckley skating it up across center ice now. Picked up again by the Tigers. Down over to Webster. Webster getting it off to Carlson. Carlson across the blue line. Getting it back, passing it off to Webster, and it's intercepted there by Todd Leach. Back over to Webster again now. Webby can't shoot it. Picked up by Albert Lea, number 11, Kevin Brandt. Brandt brings it down into the Owatonna end now. He stops. Sets it up in front. Oh, a nice push off by Buckley there as he knocked it over to one side. It's picked up there at center ice now by Albert Lea as it goes into their zone. Clark Johnson with it. 1 minute and 45 seconds left of the second period. Across center ice and down into the Owatonna end it goes. Up in the air and down, picked up there by Doug DeWord again now. And 2 Albert Lea Tigers run into each other, and DeWord comes out with a puck. DeWord getting it over to Webster. Webster over the blue line now. He can't fire it off as it's knocked away by Todd Dahl. Goes up against the boards, right in front of the net there. Shot is taken by Carlson, right in front of the net again there. Carlson can't make it pay dirt. And it comes down across center ice again. Hard slap shot just goes wide of the net. Hits Buckley from behind in the mask as it bounces off the boards, and it's picked up again at center ice. 1 minute and 10 seconds left now. Down into the Albert Lea end again, back and forth, and the puck comes back into the Owatonna end. And icing is called as the break is taken at 1 minute and 2.
A lot of fast action since that last goal. That minute and a half, a lot of skating up and down. And Albert Lea, of course, pushed ahead in the lead. Just a matter of the Indians aren't getting enough shots on the Albert Lea goaltender.
We'll have the drop of the puck to the left of Anderson, and the net's for Albert Lea. Puck is taken there, right there, and Anderson makes a nice save. No, it goes over to Brad DeWord now. DeWord falls down. He can't do anything with it, and it comes back, and we're going to have a
Albert Lea penalty.
Albert Lea penalty, and they will go into the next period a man short.
Oh, their big gunner too, Todd.
Number 10, Ross Dahl.
Their big gunner.
And they will go start the next period a man short. Equal to what Owatonna did the first of this period. It's 3-2, 56 seconds left of the second period of play.
Hooking was the goal.
Well, they're getting organized here now as that power play goes into effect here, although there they go. Now there's the face-off. Picked up there again by Owatonna. They get it around behind the Albert Lea net now. McEnany skates after it. Puck is dumped down to center. It's picked up there by Brad DeWord now. DeWord with the puck. Brings it down across center ice, down across the blue line, skates through 2 men, takes the shot. Goaltender gets it in his glove and puts it around behind the net. And it's picked up again by Albert Lea. They dump it back down into the Owatonna end with 34 seconds left of the period. Buckley goes around behind it, gets it off to Carlson now. Carlson brings it up, getting it back over to Gary Norman. Norman up against the boards with it, shoots it back down. Albert Lea takes it there. Number 16, Vinny Serrato, shoots it back down to the blue line. Brad DeWord turns around from a man. 13 seconds left. Brad DeWord coming down across the blue line again, going to his left. Gets it down, run into the corner there. He loses the puck, passes it backwards. 6 seconds left. Puck is brought down to the blue line again there. Picked up by Brad DeWord. DeWord decides not to fire. Gets it over to Carlson, and Carlson takes the shot just as the whistle, the buzzer goes off. And Owatonna again skates off a goal down, 3-2 after tying it up in the second period. Our period break brought to you this portion by First Federal Savings and Loan, and also by Kopke Jewelers in Owatonna. And here's Ken with the rundown.
Okay, after Albert Lea Tigers took a 2-1 lead at the end of the first period, the Indians did use over half the period to bring that tying score, but a beautiful goal it was, and it was number 9, Bobby Carlson, who had done so much work in that zone, getting control of the puck, and he got the goal. It was number 4, Dave Kirkfleet, and number 17, Mark Webster, who assisted. It only took about 4 minutes for the Albert Lea Tigers to again move ahead 3-2, and it was number 3 for Albert Lea, Clark Johnson, assisted by Steve Anderson, and also assisted by Todd Leach. Penalties, Owatonna Indians had 2, both of them going to number 6, Chris Wilker, 1 for elbowing, 1 for tripping, and of course they also had that penalty going into the second period, so really they skated off 3. Albert Lea Tigers picked one up right at the end of the period. Number 10, Ross Dahl, their big man, for a hooking call. He'll still have 34 seconds to serve as it goes into the third period of play. Joe Buckley, some mighty fine goaltending. 8 big stops in the second period, again to give them 16 for the 2 periods. Tom Anderson didn't have too much work in that second period. He only had 4 stops added to the 10 in the first, makes the 2-period total of 14. Quite even on the stops, and really the Indians skated much, much better with Albert Lea in that second period of play.
Let's take a listen to that high school band. Is going to be joining us here in the booth here. Meantime, we are going to be back after this word from First Federal.
Are you a businessman with money sitting between inventories? A farmer with crop money to invest? Or an investor who's out of the market right now wondering where to put your money in the meantime? First Federal Savings has just the place for your money. We call it our go-between account, a place your money grows between investments, whether it's for a few days, a few weeks, or a few months. First Federal's go-between pays you 5.25% yearly interest every day your funds are on deposit. Besides everyday interest, your savings enjoy everyday insurance protection, up to $40,000, and the day you need your money, withdraw it. There are no commissions to pay, no costly delays. Businessman, farmer, investor, if you're looking for a way to turn your short-term money into long-term profit, invest in First Federal Savings Go-Between account. First Federal, with offices in Albert Lea, Faribault, Owatonna, Northfield, and Farmington.
Look to the builders of happiness. Look to First Federal.
The score is 3-2 here right now, and I have Kenny Austin here during this period break while we make the ice. And Kenny, what are your observations on the game, first of all?
Well, tournaments, of course, are different than any other kind of hockey, I guess. I thought that both teams were a little tight after that first period and a little bit afraid of making the error. They know that if they lose tonight, they're all done. And this seems to change the whole tempo of the game. I thought we came out and played a much, much better second period. I'm just impressed as I can be the way that number 2 line is working.
Yeah.
I think Webster and Bobby Carlson and that group are really, really digging out there. They all are trying, but it's, as you know, when you get into tournaments, it's a new game.
Yeah, it is a new game for sure, and it's tough, I guess, Ken, when you get scored on a man short. That's always a tough one, you know.
It's part of the game, and I say we shouldn't take anything away from Albert Lea. They've got some fine hockey players. The Serrato and the Dahl are about as good high school players I've seen come along in a long, long time, and Albert Lea has had a good program for many years. They work hard. Their certainly good competition, and I think it's a good hockey game. It's 3-2. It could be either way. I thought the first period we probably could have put the game away. We had enough chances. Penalties have hurt us.
Penalties have hurt us, yep. And I don't know if we're playing it wrong or not. You know, when you get penalized a lot, you try to keep away from them, but...
Well, you know, a guy's coming away from the boards with the puck, and he gets around you, and then sometimes maybe it's a good idea to take a penalty rather than let him go in alone.
Yeah.
There's penalties known as good penalties, and I think maybe the last one was one that had to be taken. If he would have walked in all alone, then you're giving him a goal, and we've been killing the penalties except that one.
Yeah, right.
So I think that the kids are playing pretty good. It's a fine hockey game. It's up and down, and neither of these teams are giving any quarter to each other. We got a period to go, 15 minutes, and even though we're down one right now, I'm going to say Owatonna is the winner in this thing.
Yeah, I am too. I'm confident they can come back and do her, and let's certainly hope so, because we'd sure love to get up there. We've never gone to that third game.
Oh, you betcha. It's a great sport, and the kids are having a great time. Fans are enjoying it. This Owatonna band sounds super, and it's kind of fun to be over high school hockey.
Yeah, it is.
You can't beat it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, if we can, about some other things that maybe you can comment on. Some of our kids that are in college. I didn't have the phones on the other night when you were talking about Mark, but I assume that he is dickering with the Golden Seal, or California Seals, all right?
What's called, Todd, is he's put on our negotiation list. Each team in the National Hockey League has 4 spots on the negotiation list. You can put a player on, and that means that we have the exclusive rights, California Seals do, to negotiate with that player. And Mark is one of the 4 that we have on our negotiation list. He graduates this year. He's majoring in education, and I understand he's going to practice teach in Faribault. And we hope to take him to training camp next fall in Portland, and hope that he can make one of the 3 teams in the Seals organization. We have Toledo down there in the International League, and we have Salt Lake City in the Central Pro League, and of course the big team. And I think it'd be a big jump for Mark next year if he could start in with our International League team at Toledo. And Mark's a fine boy, and he's really developed physically, and smart hockey player. Real credit to the game.
Anybody, although it's early yet because his cohort Dan Vokey is not done with school yet, I guess. Is there anybody interested in looking at him at all? Or?
Well, I think so. You know, it's one of those things we try to recommend to a boy that he finish school. It's a mistake, in our opinion, for him to leave school to go pro, because they just don't go back to school. And I hope that Dan finishes school, and I'd like to see Dan back in this area. What a credit he'd be to a hockey program anywhere.
Yep, for sure. Okay, well, let's see. And, of course, Tribble's still with the Air Force.
Well, you know, that's an interesting line from back in yesteryears in high school. Crystal Bokey and Tribble all played on the same line. Tribble is captain at Air Force, and Bokey and Crystal are co-captains, or the tri-captains. They're up at Bemidji.
Yeah.
So there you got 3 captains out of 1 line in high school. It's an interesting thing, Todd. We counted the other day. There are 11 boys now playing college hockey who played hockey at Owatonna High School. And there aren't too many high schools that can claim that. And as you go around the various leagues, the boys are all doing well. Jimber Freeberg playing for Augustburg. We've got Horica, and we've got Brad Austin over at Gustavus Adolphus, Crystal Bokey up at Bemidji, Tribble at Air Force, Johnny Olson at St. Scholastica, Conway at Yale, and I suppose I've missed someone along the line here, but we're so proud of them. I think that they've done an excellent job, and hockey has been a way for them to participate in sports in college, and I think it's helped them all. And we hope that they end up as better persons because of their experience as hockey players.
For sure, Kenny, and of course, I understand that Bill Conway has really been doing super down there at Yale.
Yes, he is. And of course, Bill is such a fine young man and a good student. Yale is academically, as everyone, I suppose, knows, a top school. and they like him very much. We're looking now as this season is kind of drawing to an end where some of these boys will be going. And I'm sure there are boys on the Owatonna team that do have capabilities of playing college hockey. Where they'll go or what they'll do, people in the colleges don't like to talk to them too much before the season's over. But certainly if the desire is there and they're willing to pay the price as a hockey player in college, they have the opportunity.
Okay, Kenny, as a scout for the Seals, what do you think is wrong with the North Stars?
Oh, I don't know. The Seals played the North Stars last night out on the coast and won, and everyone thinks it's so bad because the Seals win a few games, but we're a very young team. The average age is 22, and we're just playing very good hockey right now. The North Stars are in a slump. I think they've got some problems. I look at the line of Califas and Young and Jerry. I've watched them the last couple of games, and they're playing just super. Couldn't play better. Goaltending, I think, has been very good for the North Stars. They're probably not getting the production out of their big line, Goldsworthy and Hextall, that I'm sure the North Stars counted on. Defensively, they got some young defensemen in there by Lois and Hicks. They're both very young, and they're probably in a rebuilding period. I still think they play great hockey. I've watched the North Stars. They played Philadelphia 3-3. You couldn't ask a better exhibition. Very often in sports they say if you lose, you're no good. And I suppose that's the kind of the syndrome we're in, and maybe it always spreads over into high school, but I don't always believe that. I think a lot of fans enjoy the game for the good plays, and I see the North Stars make a lot of good plays, and I think they're well worth the buck.
Yeah, they really are. And unfortunately, they haven't been, with professional hockey, you can only stay in a slump so long, and then it starts showing on the financial end of it. And the North Stars have not been drawing crowds like that. I've seen them. I haven't been to a North Star game in quite a while, but I can remember 16-5 up there in the Met Center.
They can't get 16-5.
15-5.
Well, you kind of wonder sometime about a fan. I don't know, and I'm not looking at any fans, but the other night in the Boston game, I was up watching. It's a super hockey game. Just up and down, and with 10 minutes to go, the people were going home, and it was 1 goal difference. And you wonder, gee, would they be better off playing the Little Sisters of the Poor and winning, and would the crowd be there?
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy watching Yvan Cournoyer, Montreal, and the way they play, and I think in the National Hockey League you get a chance to see the good players. So their pro hockey isn't, the North Stars aren't as bad as I think some people like to make you believe. They're playing good hockey, and plus they're playing good competition.
Yeah. Well, I guess our next problem is to get up here and tie this game up and put her out ahead. 15 minutes is going to determine who's going to go on and who's going to hang them.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm an optimist at heart, and I think our kids are going to come out flying this next period. I just have every confidence that they're going to really do their very, very best. I guess that's all you can ask.
That's all you can ask, yeah. Thanks, Kenny, for coming up. Be careful going down.
Yeah, sure will. It's kind of a precarious...
This kind of reminds you of Shattuck, don't it?
Yes, it sure does. We had a lot of fun in those days, huh?
We sure did.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Kenny. Kenny Austin from KRFO FM Owatonna. We'll be back now in just a minute after this word from Kotke.
Man's best friend may be a dog, but ask any woman what her best friend is, and she's likely to say diamonds. Don't leave your special lady friendless. Come to Kotke Jewelers and choose a gift for her from our large array of diamond pins, pendants, earrings, and watches. Your gift is sure to leave her wide-eyed and as happy as she could be. Kotke's will tell you all about the important factors of diamond buying, how to select the right cut, color, clarity, and carat. So there's no need to worry about making the wrong choice. Kotke's will help you select that perfect gift for any occasion. Come in and look around soon. Say it with diamonds from Kotke Jewelers in downtown Owatonna.
Well, the teams are out on the ice now. We're ready to go. It's do or die for the Indians right here. 3-2. They're behind the goal. And brought Broadcasters Club members include Clark Super 100, Gildner's, Owatonna Elevator, George A. Clemmer & Son, Malm Jewelers, VFW Post 3723, The Gandy Company on Gandrood Road, Guffey's Fairway, Hart Central Bakery, Owatonna Tool Company, Northwestern National Bank, TBL Incorporated, agents for Whitty and Werner Transportation, Ron Hansen, Service Master, Carpet Cleaners. Get any lowdown down there, Ken, at all?
No.
Coaches weren't out, I don't think, were they?
No, they weren't, Todd, or at least I didn't see them. There isn't a lot of conversation. It's kind of like the game, you know. There's some tightness, there's no question, but yet some confidence being shown. And I think that really, when we look back at the opportunities we had, particularly in that first period, to pick up another goal or two, and if we can just stay out of penalty problems, none of our penalties have been that bad, but it will cost you a minute and a half.
There's Kenny Austin down behind the Albert Lea goal. And we're ready to go here for Owatonna High School hockey tonight. This third period of play, this is it.
34 seconds we'll have with that man advantage. And it would be just super if we could tuck one away and tie it up in that first half minute of play.
Okay, ready for the drop of the puck now. Picked up by Albert Lea. They get it there to Steve Anderson. Anderson in his own zone, shooting it down to the Owatonna end now. Picked up there by Gary Norman. Norman getting it over to Brad DeWord. DeWord shooting it down across center ice now. He keeps the puck. Comes down through two men there. It's taken away. Knocked back down toward McEnany. And McEnany skates DeWord with it now. DeWord along the boards. Back over to Brad DeWord again now. DeWord getting it back over to Gary Norman. Norman back to Brad DeWord. DeWord getting it off to Carlson. Carlson tries to shoot it. Goes into skates. McEnany shooting it around to Orlowski. Right in front of the net there. Nobody to shoot it. And it's picked up again by Albert Lea. Mitch Anderson with it. Shoots it down across center ice. And it goes into the Owatonna end. And they are at full strength now as they go around behind the Owatonna net. Oh, puck is shot right in front of Buckley. Goes over to the other side. Steve Anderson at the point now. Shoots it up to the corner. Albert Lea shooting it there. Picked up again by the Indians. They rebounded off the boards. It comes down to center ice. And picking it up, the captain for Albert Lea, Mitch Anderson. Anderson shooting it up. Gets the Gary Norman stick and it's shot back down into the Tiger zone. Mitch Anderson with it now for Albert Lea. Anderson skating it to the left of his net. Shoots it off to center ice. Picked up by Ross Dahl. Dahl shooting it back down. Steve Anderson with it now. Anderson coming back across center ice now. Picked up there again by Mike Hansen. Hansen shooting it against the boards. Brings it back down into the Albert Lea end. And it goes around behind the net. Diedrich skating after it. Now back over to Mike again. Mike back to Diedrich. Oh, Diedrich almost puts it right there. He actually shot the puck while it was in the air and it went right into the goaltender.
Yes, he did. And good alert goaltender on that one because you wouldn't have expected that one at all. Albert Lea, of course, back to full strength.
And we nearly have the fans stomping the roof here, stomping the stands. Kirkfleet now will take it at to the left. Rather, Carlson takes the center for the Indians along with Todd Leach for Albert Lea. There's the drop of the puck back to Kirkfleet over to Mitch or to Webster. Taken away there by Brandt now. Kevin Brandt for the Tigers, passing it over to Leach again. Leach over the blue line, brings it down into the Owatonna end. Up into the corner with it. Kirkfleet gets it. Kirkfleet against the boards. Picked up by Doug DeWord again now. DeWord, he loses his stick there. Goes to Albert Lea again. Buckley knocks one away from the side. Buckley again gets another save. Right in front, hits the pipe. Albert Lea keeps drumming away. Finally picked up by the Indians now. Coming back down to the blue line, and it's picked up there by Todd Dahl. In front of the net there. No shot is taken. Goes over to the left. And Owatonna trying to come out with it from their own zone. Webster getting it. Picked up there again by Dahl. Dahl at the blue line. Right in front of the net there. Oh, shot can't be taken. Comes off to the point, but I believe that there was a stop made. Now it comes back down to Carlson. He almost gets a clean break. Back up the center ice now. Doug DeWord with it. DeWord passing it over to Webster. Webster over the blue line. Hard shot. Goaltender Anderson gets it.
Didn't know where it was. He had it tucked away in that pad, but he wasn't sure. Good shot by Webster, and really it was too bad that Webster didn't get that other shot off, Todd. He was a little slow pulling the trigger back about 30 seconds ago. Had a perfect opportunity to score there.
12 minutes and 38 seconds left of the game. Owatonna down 3-2. Brad DeWord now. The left of the net. Brad DeWord getting it up in front to Orlowski. Orlowski can't hold it. Goes over to Steve Anderson. Anderson for the Tigers. Comes down across center ice. Shot is taken. Buckley makes the save. Goes over to the side to Serrato. Serrato losing it there to McEnany. McEnany around behind his net. Shooting it backwards. Going into the corner for it is Ormson. Ormson with it. He falls down. Picked up at the blue line by Albert Lea. Ken Hansen gets it now. Shoots it into the corner. Hard checking by McEnany again. Picked up by the Indians again at the blue line, but a shot is taken again. Buckley almost screened there, and it's picked up again by the Indians. Here comes Orlowski. Orlowski shooting at the Brad DeWord. It goes in the air as it hits his stick after the pass. Picked up again now by Dahl for Albert Lea. Passing it over to Ken Hansen. And Hansen dumps it down into the Owatonna end. Coming back over to number 10, Ross Dahl. Shot is taken. Goes around behind the net. And it goes into the corner. Picked up there by Albert Lea momentarily, but it gets away from him. Around behind the Indians net. Serrato with it now. Shot tried to be taken, but it wasn't. Serrato getting it again, shoots it right in front. Almost a rebounder there, as Serrato was right there to knock in the rebound. Shot is taken again, goes around behind the net, and the Indians got to get it out of there. Picked up by Gary Norman now. Norman getting it up against the boards with it, and Albert Lee's right on him again. Picked up there again by Serrato. Serrato there, he falls down, and do they put it in? Somebody's arms went up, but Buckley made the stop.
Buckley got his glove on it, picked it off. Gee, the Indians having a tough time breaking out of there. They just couldn't get control of it. It didn't seem like Albert Lea was set up that well, but they seemed to hit their man no matter where they threw the puck.
And Buckley is down there. He's scooping the ice. 11:22, 3-2 is the score. Albert Lea in the lead. In the corner now. Picked up there by Bob Carlson now. Around the back of the net. Over to Webster. Webster in the corner with it. He tries to get it out. Albert Lee still holding it in there as they bounce it back and forth. Going over to Colstrup again now. Right in front of the net. It goes to one side. And picked up now by Kirkley. Kirkley gets it down to center ice. Intercepted there again by the Tigers. They take a shot. And Buckley makes the save as it goes by him again now. Bob Carlson finally manages to get it out and down to center ice and down into the Albert Lee end. Picked up by the Tigers now. Number 3, Clark Johnson. Johnson around behind the net. And he gets it over to Leach. Leach shooting it up to center ice there. Over to Dan Colstrup. Almost taken away, but the Indians can't do it. Now picked up by Doug DeWord. DeWord shooting it against the boards, and skating after it is Webster. Webster going for it now, and Todd Dahl has it. Dahl getting it down, brings it out from his zone now, comes out across center ice. Dahl takes the shot from the blue line, and Buckley makes a beautiful save, but offsides was called as he shot it.
Well, just very tenacious forechecking going on by the Albert Lea Tigers down in the Owatonna Indian zone, and the Indians are just having a heck of a time breaking out. They did break out finally, but they just haven't had any decent shots on that Albert Lea goaltender, which was true throughout the second period pretty much.
Broadcasters Club, KSW Roofing and Heating, Owatonna Prescription Center, Friesel Electric, Floor Crafters, Riverside TV and Appliance, Haberman Supplies, and the Conley Willeen Funeral Chapel. Puck comes down into the Albert Lea end again now. Goes sailing back, and going after it is Gary Norman, but not before icing is called. And so we'll have a face-off at center ice.
Well, how many times, Todd, have we seen Brad DeWord pick up that puck somewhere in the center area and make a couple of those usual moves, and the Tigers are right on him.
Yep.
He hasn't had much room to move at all. Usually he can work his way around at least a couple of players on his way down to the net.
Correction, the face-off is in the Albert Lea end now. Puck goes over to the left now, put up by Albert Lea. Tigers getting it there. Ross Dahl shooting at the center. It's knocked back down into the Albert Lea end again. Picked up there by Mitch Anderson now. Anderson shooting out to the center ice there. Wilker, a vicious check, and a penalty on Wilker coming up again. And around the back of the net, I hope Wilker holds his temper.
Yeah, I do too. Looks like he will.
As he skates off.
That hurts. His timing was off on that one because I think he maybe, they called it interference, I believe, Todd, and he may have hit that man just a fraction of a second before the puck touched his stick. But that makes it awfully tough. Tough on Wilker mentally, too.
Score 3-2, 10:04 left. The clock now starting to work against the Indians here. Top of the puck again now as Owatonna skates a man short. Back down to Todd Dahl. Dahl takes a hard slap shot. Goes by Buckley and over to the corner. McEnany gets it, dumps it all the way down. Here comes Brad DeWord. DeWord over the blue line. He just loses it there as he goes over. He almost had a clean break. Puck up against the boards. Picked up there now by Vinny Serrato. Serrato comes to the left of his net now. Brings it down across the blue line, down across center ice. Coming down into the Owatonna end once again. Serrato right around the back of the net. Oh, Buckley makes a nice save as Serrato had it there. He went by him, and it was close. Picked up again at the blue line. Here comes Brad DeWord now. He has the puck, brings it down into the Albert Lea end, and they really are on DeWord the minute he gets it. Into the corner now comes Mitch Anderson. He comes out of his own zone. Anderson shooting it over to center ice now. Ormson, he's skating without a helmet at the moment. Shoots it back down into the Albert Lea end. To the right now. Albert Lea kicks it off. Goaltender Anderson getting it off to Dahl. Todd Dahl getting it down to Ross. No, he keeps it. Todd Dahl down to number 11, Kevin Brandt. Brandt over the center ice and is knocked back down again by Ormson with 25 seconds left of the period, of the penalty. Here comes Albert Lea now, number 4, Todd Dahl. Dahl across the center ice area. Bringing it down into the Owatonna end once again. Nice passing by Albert Lea. They take a shot, goes over to the left. Somebody's playing without a stick out there.
Brad DeWord, unfortunately.
And DeWord going over to the blue line, watching closely. Shot is taken, and the whistle is blown as Buckley gets it in his glove, and DeWord will get a chance to get that stick.
Joe's come up with some big saves this period, at least 3 of them that were really difficult ones. So the Indians still are within that 1-goal range. No reason that they can't come up and tie this game.
Okay, so we'll be ready to go here. Puck to the left of the Indians' net.
2 seconds. Yeah, left net penalty.
Of Walker's penalty. Walker getting ready to come out again now to the left of the Owatonna net. Top of the puck comes back down over to Carlson. Carlson getting it back down to Doug DeWord. We're at full strength now as we go around behind our own net here, trying to clear it out. Albert Lea right on the puck there as they come down across center ice. Picked up again by Bob Carlson. Carlson over the blue line, tries to shot, shoot, gets it off to Webster. Webster centers it over to Carlson. Carlson can't get a shot on it. He was backwards on it. It's picked up now by Kevin Brandt. Brandt getting it back over to Kirkley. Kirkley up against the boards again now with it. Kirkley trying to get it. Picked up again by Webster. Webster back down over to Carlson. Carlson takes the shot, goes by the goaltender and over by the pipe. Webster with it again now. Webster up against the boards. He gets onto the puck, gets it off the center ice, and waiting for it there is Colstrup. He knocks it back down across center ice, and Brett Buckley skates it there over the blue line. Back down into the Owatonna end again it goes. Webster gets it taken away by Clark Johnson. Johnson in front. Hard slap shot. Hits Brett Buckley right on the back, and it goes over to the corner. Picked up again by Owatonna, but the puck is frozen there in the corner, and it's 3-2 with 7:39 left to go. If we can just keep it in this end and keep firing away, something's got to go in. But I have a hard time keeping it here. Albert Lea has really been forechecking it.
Oh, just tremendously. And I didn't realize they were doing that job that well early in the game.
Okay, drop of the puck now to the left of the Indians' net. Doug DeWord around the back of the net now, going over to the corner. Picked up by Webster again now. Webster at the blue line gets it taken away there, but it comes back to center ice area as Webster knocks it back down. Picked up again by Mitch Anderson. Now Anderson shooting it across center ice, getting it back over to Ken Hansen. Hansen tries to shoot. It's knocked away there by Owatonna, and they shoot it back down across center ice again. Deke back up into the center ice area by Albert Lea, and it goes over to the other side of the rink. Kirkley chasing a man, picked up by Ross Dahl again. Dahl passing it across, back over to Dahl at center ice, over the blue line again. And Dahl passing it back over to Ken Hansen. Hansen tries to fire, and the puck will be sent down into the Albert Lea end where icing is called. Broadcasters Club members are Viracon, the Wasik Brothers, Plum Plumbing and Heating, Knights of Columbus Council 945, Gross Industrial Towel and Garment, Dwayne's Portrait Studio, and LD's Auto Parts. 6:58 left to go in the period. And in the game. And Owatonna's down a goal, 3-2. Still time to do it. To the left now, Brad DeWord. Brad DeWord gets it. Albert Lea putting it back down into the goal area of Owatonna, round back behind the net again. Here comes McEnany. McEnany skates out now, getting it back across center ice. Picked up there by Brad DeWord. DeWord back over to McEnany. McEnany just over the blue line, and Albert Lea gets it. Ross Dahl gets it to center ice, passing over to Vinny Serrato. Serrato's on Buckley. Beautiful save by Buckley as he shot on him right on top of him. Picked up again there by Dahl again at the blue line. Dahl to his right, and Brad DeWord picks it up now. DeWord around the back of the net with it, getting it back over to McEnany. McEnany shooting it back down. Mitch Anderson gets it, and Anderson at the blue line holding on to the puck there, chopping away at us both McEnany and DeWord. DeWord getting it finally down into the Albert Lea zone. Tigers skate after it now. Number 9, Ken Hansen. He's being pursued by McEnany. Over to Steve Anderson. Anderson up against the boards. Puck is frozen there.
Well, Indians certainly have to give credit to Joe Buckley in this third period because that was a clean break by Vinny Serrato, and he's the second highest point getter on that Albert Lea team. He's got something like 42 or 44 points, and looked like he had Buckley to his mercy, but Joe made a big stop.
Top of the puck now. Mike Hansen will take the face-off for the Indians. Hansen with it, goes off to the right, gets it off to the boards, picked up there by Albert Lea now. Dan Colstrup gets it. Colstrup coming down across center ice, hard slap shot, goes right into the skates or the pads of Doug DeWord, and DeWord gets it, brings it down into the Owatonna end. He's really hit hard there. DeWord is checked out of the play by 2 men. Hansen working hard against it, gets it off in the center ice area, and Diedrich tries to pop it in, can't do it. He's right in front of the net. Back over to the side again now, picked up again by the Tigers, and here comes Colstrup with it, brings it down across the blue line, and we have offsides called.
Way outside. Number 6, Todd Leach on the right wing for Albert Lea got in way too quick, and that'll be brought back. Both lines, I think. No, just the one line for the faceoff. Indians changing lines again.
5:37. I don't know exactly what they're doing to us, Ken, but they're sure on us. We can't seem to do much when we get it in their end. They're really on all the men. They're just tremendous forechecking and back-checking here.
Yes, they are. They're playing an excellent game. There's no question.
5:37 left of the game now. Puck down to Doug DeWert after the faceoff. DeWert gets it over to Carlson. Carlson passing it off to Webster. Webster gets checked into the boards as he loses the puck there, but it goes into the corner. Coming at it, Albert Lea. Albert Lea Tigers getting it. Todd Dahl around back behind his net again. Webster skates after it, and it comes back over to Leach. Leach across center ice. Picked up there again by Leach. Leach coming down across center ice again. Over to the left. Puck is dumped down into the Owatonna end, and is picked up there by Brett Buckley. Buckley shooting it, getting it off to Bob Carlson now. Carlson down across center ice, over the blue line. He stops there, takes the hard slap shot. Rebounder almost taken there by Kirkfleet, but he couldn't get it in there. He was right on it, and it's picked up again by at the blue line by Albert Lea. Here comes Carlson again. Carlson over the blue line. He stops there. It's taken away by Albert Lea. Number 4, Todd Dahl, before he could get a shot off. And Dahl gets it around behind the net. He really dumps it down into the Owatonna end once again, and icing is called. Face-off will be here.
Albert Lea wanted that new line out there, and they intentionally caused that icing. Joe Buckley is talking to the referee down there. I don't know if he's trying to freshen up his mouth or what he's asking the referee.
4 minutes and 43 seconds left. Buckley would like to have a towel, I think, but the referee will not let him go out.
Yep, I think you're right, Todd.
He's not taking any chances of any delay of game, apparently, so we'll have a face-off here. Brad DeWert now going after his own face-off. Puck is dumped back down again, and that face-off will be again in the Albert Lea end.
Well, Brad DeWert did get the initial face-off, and he poured right in, hoping to pop that one in quick, but they sent it all the way down our end. Of course, if we can keep doing that, that'll be fine. We'll be playing in their zone. We've got to get some shots on that goaltender because we haven't really tested them at all in the second and third period.
4 minutes and 39 seconds. Ormson takes a shot right there, and McEnany puts it in, and McEnany ties it up.
McEnany looked and looked and looked. He couldn't believe it. He said, "Where's the puck?" And here it was behind the goaltender.
And McEnany popped it in. A beautiful goal. It was a rebound goal. The shot was taken, and I'm not sure from who initially.
Number 14, that's Bobby McEnany for us, and we'll get you those assists because it was a scramble in front of the net. It was a rebound shot.
We'll get the assist. It is now 3-3 with 4 minutes and 34 seconds left to go. And after the face-off, the puck goes out of the rink, and we'll have another face-off as the puck goes out of play.
Well, our good man over there, Ron, flashed over a 14 and then a 5, so I guess that means Lenny Ormson, number 5, picked up that assist, Todd.
Well, we're going to get another puck out. Lenny Ormson gets the assist. It is now 3-3, and the Indians have tied it up, and we're right back in this hockey game with 4:33 left to go. The winner goes up to Bloomington Saturday night, dropping the puck down over the blue line. Picked up there by Anderson now. Anderson getting it off to Ross Dahl. Dahl across the blue line, hung up there by Orlowski. Orlowski gets it, passes it over to his right, going after it now for Owatonna. Around the back of the net is Ormson. Ormson shooting it off across ice now. Picked up by Orlowski again. Orlowski at center ice. Here's Brad DeWert with a break. He gets it in. And Brad DeWert scores. That is 4-3. Brad DeWert took it in all alone.
That ought to shake him, Todd.
And Buckley comes clear down out of the net to congratulate Brad DeWert, and the Indians go ahead.
Well, that ought to shake him. That was 22 seconds apart. The Indians tied it and then went ahead, and that has to cause some concern on the Albert Lea bench. Now, if they can Indians, if
they can just hold them,
just get them back in line and say, "Okay, boys, now that's enough offense. We got to be offensive minded, and let's play a little defense along with it." We'll have to see if there's an assist. Number 7 gets.
Number 7 from. Okay, there's the drop of the puck again now. Picked up again by Albert Lea now. Picking it up, Kevin Brandt. Brandt across the blue line now. Coming down to Webster. Webster shooting it, and it goes back down into the Owatonna end. Brett Buckley skates it. Goes around the back of the net. Picking it up there is Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet's up against the boards with it now. Picked up at center ice by Albert Lea. 3:52 left to go, and we have offsides called.
Yeah, Orth got the assist and an Albert Lea penalty, Todd.
And an Albert Lea penalty, number 11, Kevin Brandt will go in.
Well, let's hope hope the tide has turned just a little bit here because the Indians have been kind of tough luck Joes for I don't know how many games now. We'll have to see what that call was for. I didn't watch the referee to pick it up.
4-3 is the score, and it's 3:47 left to go. Brad, you might, I don't know if you taped this last goal or not. I think Lad Ripka's taping the game tonight.
I hope he's taping the last 2 minutes.
I do too, at least the last 2 minutes.
We can't hear a thing, so we'll have to wait to get that penalty, whatever it was.
Okay, drop of the puck again now. Picked up by Albert Lea. They bring it down into the Owatonna end. It's knocked away over to the corner. Webster gets it. Owatonna's going to start stalling, I think. Coming across, there comes Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet over the blue line. Takes the hard shot. Initial save made. Webster almost in there to get it. 3:31 left. Picked up again by Brad DeWord now. DeWord in front of the net there. Shoots it over toward Kirkfleet, and Kirkfleet can't get the shot. It comes back into the corner. Albert Lea, desperate now, comes around the back of their net as they come up into the corner with 3:17 left to go. Here's the shot up by to Brad DeWord. DeWord takes the shot, goes off of a player's skate. Webster gets it around the back of the Tigers net now. Picked up again by Todd Dahl, and Dahl shoots it down into the Owatonna end. Round the back of the end to go, back of the net, up against the boards. Hard checking by the Tigers against Brad DeWord. And around the back of the net it goes, over to the corner. Picked up there by Gary Norman now. Norman coming back down to Bob, to Brad DeWord. DeWord getting it over to Carlson. And Carlson shooting it down to the Albert Lea goaltender. 2:42 left of the game. The Indians ahead 4-3. Shot is taken. It's dumped all the way down into the Owatonna end, but of course they're skating a man short, so it will not be iced. Picked up again now by Owatonna's. We're skating a man to the advantage. Brad DeWord skates it off over to Bob Carlson. Carlson back to DeWord. DeWord getting it back to Orlovsky. And he scores!
That's got to do it.
Orlovsky put it in, and that ices the game, I would say, for Owatonna.
That's got to do it. Brad gives that big kick, looks the goaltender and right the eyes, Todd, as if to say, you thought you had it made.
And Owatonna goes ahead by a score of 5-3.
Horst got the assist on the last one, and now he picks up the goal. And again, I didn't see the assist. We'll have to pick that up for you. But as Todd said, Indians ahead now 5-3 with only 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go. Got to be defense now, Todd.
You bet it does. 2 minutes and 24 seconds. And the score 5-3 from Rochester. Broadcasters Club members are Cashman Seed and Fertilizer, McCarthy Plumbing and Heating, Johnston's, RNC Appliance, Hiles Well Service, Polyplastics Incorporated, Starmore Beauty Salon, Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Dean Hartle, and Nielsen's Paint Store.
The face-off.
Okay, the face-off now. Comes back down at center ice. And down into the Albert Lea end it goes. 5-3. In favor of the Owatonna Indians. The Owatonna fans have just completely gone wild.
Well, Todd, they announced that last goal, Brad DeWord, assisted by Orlovsky, but I'm sure they got him just reversed. I think we know that Orlovsky put it in.
Orlovsky put it in. Okay, drop of the puck now. Carlson shoots it. It goes down into the Albert Lea zone now. Picked up by the Tigers, Mitch Anderson. Anderson coming down across the blue line. Picked up by Anderson across center ice now. Coming down by Anderson. He holds on to it. Goes down into the corner. Hard checking on to Doug DeWord. Back to the Indians again. It's picked up there by Carlson. Carlson getting it down over to Kirkfleet. Kirkfleet getting it down over the blue line. Kirkfleet skating it there. Passing it over toward Webster. Webster shoots. Goes right to the corner pipe and over. Minute and 45 seconds left to go. Indians ahead by 2. Picked up across center ice now. Coming off to Webster again. We're going to have a penalty, and it's going to be on who? It's going to be on Owatonna.
Yep. Number 2, Doug DeWord, I believe. No, it isn't.
It's going to be on Kirk, I believe.
Doug was wiping his mouth. I thought maybe...
well, let's see. Who's going in?
I guess we better not prematurely call it. Yeah, it is Kirk.
Yep. A minute and 35, and so Kirkfleet will only come out for 5 seconds, and Owatonna will only skate full strength for 5 seconds for the rest of this game. They are now ahead by a score of 5-3.
We'll pick up what that penalty was for in just a second.
There's the drop of the puck. And the stick is broken by Albert Lea as the face-off comes. It comes back down into the Albert Lea end now. And skating after it around the back of the net. Serrato gets it. They're putting all their strength in there, and they no doubt will pull their goaltender maybe at the point now. Shot back down to Serrato again. Serrato in the corner with it. Getting it back down again around the back of the net. It's picked up in front of the net there. Buckley tries to scoop a save away, but he didn't have to. It's picked up again by number 10, Ross Dahl. Into the corner. Minute and 7 seconds left to go. Shot is taken. he makes the save, and a good save there.
Beautiful save. He came out and he smothered that one, and he didn't give an inch of ground. Little high sticks going up, but that's not unusual, of course, in front of the net where they're trying to force that. Nothing rough at all. Buckley has been superb, as we said earlier in the period. He really held him in there about the first 8 minutes of this third period. A lot of pressure on the Indian goaltender. I don't know, the referee was being asked by the goaltender, if Albert Lea goaltender, if he could come out to check when he should come out of the net.
Minute and 4 seconds left to go, and it's 5-3 in favor of the Indians. In a last-minute effort by the Indians, they were down a goal, and they started this period. McEnany now with it after the face-off. Goes around behind the Albert Lea goal, chopping away at it. McEnany, Todd Dahl with it now. 51 seconds left to go. Dahl getting it back down to Johnson. Johnson coming across center ice, down across the blue line. Brad DeWard, he's got a break. Here comes Brad DeWard. The net is open, and he put it in as the goaltender was coming off the ice. And Brad DeWard put it in. That ices it down with 40 seconds to go.
Well, that's Brad DeWard's third goal. That gives him the hat trick. I'd like to see about 63 hats go out on the ice.
Oh, I guess so.
Beautiful. Of course, the goaltender was out of the net. Nothing he could do about it. Really a dejected Albert Lea Tiger team at this point.
I'd love to get down there in that box about the time the game ends. I'm going to try and do that when the game ends here. Let Kenny wrap it up. We'll try to get a tape so I can get it back up here with some impressions from Otto and Ryden. Brad DeWard's hat trick right there. There's the drop of the puck now. Albert Lea over the blue line. 36 seconds left to go. And it looks as if the Indians will be going to Bloomington on Saturday. Coming up here across down into the Albert Lea end now. Tigers picking it up. Owatonna still skating a man short. 25 seconds left to go. Tigers, Todd Dahl with it now. And the goaltender probably looking for a cue again. Dahl across the blue line. To the left now. He comes up toward Buckley. Buckley in front of the net, and they put a goal in.
Well, Dahl gets the goal, but at this point it doesn't make a lot of difference. In fact, they, I think, were expecting that he would pass off to somebody, and they kind of let him skate to the outside. But, of course, he's very quick, and he cut in early and put that backhander up and scored that goal. Number 10, Dahl, and I don't think there'll be any assists on it.
Okay, 16 seconds left to go.
6-4. I don't know what's going on. Now Davey Kirkfleet's coming out of the box. Oh, I see. They weren't running the clock properly down. And,
Okay, so Kirkfleet is out, and we are at full strength. The Indians are, that box is elated down there. Stay tuned at the end. We're going to try to get some reactions from the box. Picked up again now by Albert Lea. 7 seconds left. Cross center ice there. Shot is taken. Buckley kicks it away. And over to the corner now. 1 second left. Owatonna wins it, and they go to the third game. It is the 100th win for Owatonna's coaches Otto and Ryden. Kenny, you take it.
Okay, Todd. There's just bedlam out on the ice as the Indians came away with a win. It maybe doesn't sound so significant to beat Albert Lea, but when you've beaten twice during the season by them, there's no question it was a big one, and bigger yet. Secondly, they go to Bloomington to play the big team. That's Bloomington Kennedy on Saturday night. And thirdly, it was win number 100 for the three Indian coaches, and that had to make them happy. We'll just recap it quickly. The Indians were behind 2-1 at the end of the first. They were behind 3-2 at the end of the second, and it took 10.5 minutes into the third period before they could get that tying goal. And it was number 14, Bobby McEnany, who tied it all up at 3-3, assisted by number 5, Lenny Ormson. Then, some 22 seconds later, Brad DeWard, who was about to emerge, there was no question. He'd been stopped many times tonight, but he got that shot off, assist by Brian Orlowski, and that put the Indians in the lead 4-3. The Indians weren't done another 2 minutes later, and it was the reverse. It was Orlowski scoring on an assist by Brad DeWard, and that made it 5-3. We thought it was all over at that point, and the Indians would just go into a defensive play, but with only 40 seconds to go, Albert Lea Tigers had pulled their goaltender, and Brad DeWard stole the puck away, carefully went down, even though the goaltender tried to stick handle against him, and he flipped it in to get not only the sixth goal, but his hat trick. That brought it to 6-3, and then at that point, of course, they knew they had it won. Give credit to number 10, Ross Dahl, again. He hadn't let up yet. He came down with 16 seconds to go. He put it in unassisted, and that brought the final score to 6-4, Indians over Albert Lea. 3 penalties in that third period. Indians, number 6, went into the box. That's Chris Welker for interference. Then Albert Lea's number 11 went into the box, and that's Kevin Brandt. That was a critical one, of course, because the Indians did score on that power play. And then Dave Kirkfleet, number 4, went in with 1:35 left. Stops, Joe Buckley. Joe Buckley had 10, rather, in that third period, and some of those, there must have been 7 of them in the first 7 or 8 minutes, and just super stops, Todd. I can't get over how Buckley kept his composure on a very tough mental game. So he had 10 added to the 16 in the first 2 periods, a 3-period total of 26. And Tom Anderson, it's amazing, only 6 stops, and of course the Indians put 4 in, and that gave them a 3-period total of 20. So, once again, the Indians pull up, not an upset. They just play a good game, kept their cool, and really won it in the last 4.5 minutes of the game, 6-4. And it's on to Bloomington Ice Gardens Saturday night. And, Todd, what's that time again?
7:30 game Saturday night, and it will be against Bloomington Kennedy. It'll be a tough one, the number 1 team in the region.
They're bound to be buoyed up after this one, and
you never know what can happen.
If you can make it, just be there, because they need that support, and they are very deserving of it. If you can't, we'll be on the air again.
Right. Okay, that's it then from Graham Arena. The Indians pull this one out 6-4, and we'll be back with you again Saturday night. It's basketball tomorrow night as Owatonna meets Mankato West at Mankato. From Graham Arena in Rochester, Todd Hale and Ken Wilcox returning you now to our main studio.
Following the game, Todd Hale had this interview with the coaches.
You got it? Yeah. Well, let's get a few comments here from all 3 of our coaches, Otto and Ryden and Gary Brandt. Of course, Otto and Ryden's, this is both of their 100th win. We didn't say too much about that to begin with because we thought it might be bad luck, but a super effort by the Indians. And Coach, we looked pretty tight starting the game, actually the whole first and maybe into the second period.
Right, Todd. We were kind of concerned about it. We were wondering why the guys would be uptight, but I'm sure they wanted to win the game so bad, and we didn't play up the 100-game part too much, but I know the guys were concerned about that a little bit, and they were uptight through that first period. But even though we played pretty even hockey with Albert Lea, and I know Gary and Bill and I both felt between the first and second, if we could loosen up, we might be able to take the edge. And it started to come towards the end of the second period. We were getting into penalty problems, but we thought the kids were starting to loosen up, and definitely between the second and third period in the locker room, you could just see it coming, and we felt if we could come out there and get that tying goal, that we could break her wide open, and that's exactly what happened. I think possibly one of the key plays of the whole night was when we were down 3-2, and they got an open breakaway, and they came in on Buckley, and he came up with the big save. You could almost feel the adrenaline flow on the bench there. The guys went out and really went to work, and it just blew them right off the ice. It's one of the finest wins an Owatonna hockey team's ever had, if not the finest.
Right. And Bill, first time to the third game, right?
All right, Todd. It's especially sweet going into those regions year after year, trying to get by that second game. And finally tonight these guys did it, and they were shooting for that from the very beginning of the year. Talking with the fellas, Brad DeWord, the captain, and Chris Wilker and Bobby McEnany, that came up a number of times during the year. They were saying, guys, we're going to get by that second game, and by golly, they pulled it through.
I guess they did. In fact, Ryden's already gotten a scouting report on the next foe, haven't you, huh?
Right, Lorne Grasso, Mayo's coach, called me out of the dressing room right after our win, and laid a good scouting report on us on Kennedy for Saturday night. We hope we can go up there and really give them a tussle.
Oh, I guess so. Gary Brandt, what did you think about the middle of that second period?
I was probably as worried as anyone, but as the game went on, they started to relax a little bit, like Dud's had mentioned, and that probably helped quite a bit. I know it helped quite a bit.
Yeah, really.
You could see at the beginning of the game they were so tight, they'd go out there and make one shift, and they'd psych themselves into thinking they were tired after one trip up and down, and that's just from being tight. But once he started loosening up and playing the game, we did good.
Yeah, it really seemed like, and maybe this was because of our tightness, that Albert Lea really, for a while there, covered us something awful, though we couldn't hardly do anything.
All right, they've got a good checking team, but I think really both, we talked to the guys about really playing a tight checking game, and I'm sure Nystrom felt the same way, and really that's why at times the game did not seem to be a wide open, wild game like you might see in a typical region play, because the checking was really tight. The wings were covered, and that forces to slow up the game somewhat, Todd.
100 wins, Otto. Pretty good, huh?
Well, yeah, we're happy with that. It's really, you know, when you look back over all the hard work that's gone into hockey in Owatonna, and it's everybody's win. And the number of kids that have played for us through the past years, it's just as much of a success for them as for this present team. These guys were lucky to be when we hit the 100, but really it's the youth program and the coaches underneath. It's everybody. I think the town should enjoy it. It's one step in the right direction.
Right. Nice to go for 101. Huh?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, coaches, very much. We had D-Word, Carlson, McEnany, and Norman named to all Big Nine, and all conference was Brad DeWord, Bob Carlson, with honorable mention Gary Norman and Bob McEnany.
Right, and that's true, Todd, and we're really pleased with it. There was, I think, 5 players from Marshall that made it, 3 from Burnsville, the northern champion, and then most of the other clubs, there was no one else with 3, but we ourselves had 2 on the Southern Mini all-conference team, and DeWord and Carlson, and another number of the other teams only had 2. So we're really happy that the guys respected our players and were able to name them. And of course, McEnany and Gary was also named with DeWord and Carlson on the Big Nine all-conference. See, we have 2 separate all-conference teams.
Great. It's just tremendous. They all are deserving of it. Finally, I'd like to ask you about the game Saturday night, championship, Burnsville and Rochester. Who are you picking?
Well, I would have to go with John Marshall. I think they've got a super hockey team, and Zach has that real knack of getting his kids up for it. And Burnsville will come down here burning, but I really think you'd have to go with Marshall. But it could be a super hockey game, a very tight one.
For sure. Okay, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.